How can I draw a structure box with a recess? So I've got two structure boxes. The one on the left shows the designation in the structure box recessed with 90 degrees here. So how do I make the one on the right look like the same? So we need to check some settings first. So if we go to the options, and then settings, and then we're just going to go to the project and then the name of the project, and then in graphical editing under the general tab, we want to make sure the draw structure box with the recess is checked. So once that is done, then I just double click on the structure box and then I change the value from the left top outside at 0 degrees to the left top inside at 90 degrees like so. So if I click OK, then you can see that this now matches up. To make this setting apply for all the new structure boxes I inserted, I can just double click on it and I can just toggle one of the values. So I like to just change this from bold and then uncheck it, and you can see that now I can save this. So I'm going to give it a new name, so I'm going to call it demo default here. And then if I use it as default from now on and click OK, and if it already exists, you can overwrite it like so. If I click OK, then I can insert a new structure box. I'm just going to give it the same name, so I'm going to call it skid and click OK. So you can now see that this one inserts like the other ones do. How can I create a macro project? So to create a macro project, the easiest way is to take a copy of the project you are working on. So here I'm going to go project and then copy. And then I'm going to give it a name and I'm going to call this top 5 macros. And then I'm just going to go for only interactive pages and then click OK. And now I've got a copy of the project. The only thing I need to change to make this into a macro project is to right click and go to properties and change the type of project from schematic to macro project. When I insert an accessory in Pro Panel, how do I change the orientation? So I'm going to drag this terminal cover in here and snap it to the top, and you can see that the rotation of this accessory is correct. If I try and place it on the bottom, you can see that it does not rotate as expected. So you can manually rotate this by pressing Ctrl Shift and R and press it again to get it upside down. And then when I place it, you can see it's going to snap there correctly. We can make an adjustment to this macro, so it will always place the accessory in the correct orientation. So to do this, what I can do is I can cut this device from the cabinet, and it's going to ask me for a base point. I'm just going to use this one here. And then if I jump to my macro project, which I've got open here, I can go into this new layout space I have created and then just paste it. So it's going to ask me for a base point. It doesn't matter where this is. I'm just going to place it here. And then in the macro project, it's going to show me all the different mounting points on this device. And I can see this bottom one is the one I want to work with. And I can see that the Z-axis is pointing up and away from the device, and then the Y-axis goes up, and this one, the X-axis, goes to the right. So to rotate this, we can just click on the mounting point and go to Edit, Graphic, and then Rotate Around Axis. So the axis I want it to rotate around is the Z-axis, so I'm just going to click this one here and type 180 degrees. So once I do that, you can see the Y-axis is now pointing down. So when I insert the accessory, it will be placed in the downwards orientation. So once I've done that, I can right click and go on properties, and I'm just going to grab the macro name here. So I'm just going to select it all and copy. And then I'm going to go to this new layout space and go to properties down here. I'm just going to paste it in the macro name here. So I'm going to paste the name here also, and this is just because I like to organize it by the actual file name. So I'm going to hit OK. And then once I've done that, I can regenerate this macro. So I can go to project data, macros, generate automatically. Make sure you got the overwrite existing macro box checked and click OK. So now when I go back to my demo project and I place that same device, so if I go to devices, mine was MCB109, I can drag that over like so. And now when I place that terminal cover, I can see that it snaps correctly here and also here. So I don't need to manually rotate it now in the future. I've made changes to a macro, but when I insert the macro, I do not see these changes. I have a simple macro here, And I'm just going to regenerate it by going to project data, macros, and generate automatically. Notice this is variant A. I'm going to go to my schematic project and insert this macro and then place it here. I'm going to update this macro by taking a copy of it, and then I'm going to paste it below here. I'm going to make a simple modification to it. I'm going to make it 2 lights and wire these ones up here, like so. I'm going to change the variant to variant B, and then I'm going to regenerate variant B. When I insert this new macro, I should have the options of variant A and variant B, but notice how variant B does not have the additional light. So what is going on? So if I go back to my macro project, I can click on the macro box and right click and go to select associated objects. As you see, only this first circuit is highlighted, so that is what is included in the macro box. We have a few options to correct this. One way is to select everything inside the macro box, like so, and then right click on the macro box and go to assign objects to macro box. So now when I right click on the macro box and go to select associated objects, you can see everything is highlighted. We can also do it a different way. So if I go back a step and change this back to B, and I do my select associated objects again, I'm back to my previous step. So another option is to double click on the macro box and to change this setting here, so manual object assignment. If I uncheck that, EPLAN will automatically include everything that is inside the macro box. So if I go to select associated objects here, everything is now included. So I can regenerate variant B by going to project data, macros, generate automatically. Okay, so now when I reinsert the macro, it should be functioning as I expect. So here's variant A and there is variant B. When I insert a macro with a placeholder object, how can I delete or hide these? So here I have a macro that I inserted from the data pool. It came with 2 placeholder objects that I can use to adjust certain values on this macro. Sometimes it's desirable to hide these, and to do that, the easiest way is to change the layer visibility. So to do that, let's go to the project data and then layer management. And the 2 layers that we're interested in is the macro layer here, so EPLAN 322 and the placeholder object. So if I just scroll across to the right here and uncheck the visibility, and then also the property placement for the placeholder object down here, and this is EPLAN 551, I just scroll across and change the visibility, and then I can close out there, and as you can see they now turn grey. And if I go to view and then turn off invisible elements, now they are hidden.
Hola, buen día. Muchas gracias por participar en esta conferencia. Mi nombre es Viridiana Blanco y soy gerente de marketing para iPlan Hispanoamérica. A continuación, le voy a ceder la palabra a mis compañeros, el ingeniero Juan Carlos Garza, quien está a cargo de la gerencia de soporte técnico en iPlan Hispanoamérica, y el ingeniero Carlos Hernández, quien es gerente de cuenta para toda la zona norte de México. Ellos estarán hablando en esta conferencia sobre cómo nuestras soluciones en iPlan ayudan a nuestros clientes a incrementar su eficiencia y, por consiguiente, la productividad en sus negocios. Vamos a mostrar algunas de las metodologías que utilizamos para ello y cómo en este proceso paso a paso les vamos guiando en todo este camino para incrementar su productividad. Nuevamente, muchas gracias y recuerden que también estaremos respondiendo todas sus dudas en los chats. Bienvenidos.
Hola, buenas tardes a todos. Primeramente es un gusto saludarlos, esperando que haya sido productivo su día y las presentaciones en las cuales han estado ingresando. Mi nombre es Juan Carlos Garza, soy el gerente técnico de EPLAN y bueno, pues el día de hoy vamos a hablar o cerrar este ciclo de conferencias acerca de las soluciones de EPLAN orientadas para incrementar la productividad. Perfecto, muy bien. Bueno, voy a empezar yo en base pues, a la presentación. Posteriormente mi compañero el ingeniero Carlos Hernández va a continuar y bueno, va a cerrar el ingeniero Luis Olvera. Bueno, como lo han estado viendo durante todo este ciclo de conferencias, pues en este caso nosotros hemos tratado de darles un mensaje en el cual queremos mostrar cómo EPLAN puede ser una solución no solamente de un software de diseño de ingeniería, sino como un proveedor de soluciones en los diferentes tipos de industria, como por ejemplo puede ser en la parte de alimentos y bebidas, en la parte de las CSMs o arranques de motores, también cómo podemos hacer integración con lo que son diferentes software, también, bueno, obviamente la parte del configurador, de los accesorios, más sin embargo, también tenemos otras integraciones también con diferentes compañías para lo que es soluciones de PLCs o ERPs. Al igual, mostramos cómo pueden ustedes generar unas cotizaciones de manera rápida en base a lo que es la planeación que ustedes hacen desde la parte de las necesidades del cliente. Y bueno, algunos otros datos en el cual mostramos que nuestro software no solamente es un software de dibujo, sino también de planeación y de integración. De esta manera, pues bueno, mostramos la facilidad en la cual podemos generar. Más sin embargo, bueno, hay un punto muy importante en el cual tenemos que tomar en consideración, sobre todo lo que es la metodología de trabajo. Para poder llegar a esos niveles, pues se tiene que tener una metodología de trabajo correcta y lo primero, antes que todo, tenemos que saber distinguir eh, los puntos primordiales para poder hacer una buena selección de soluciones, ¿no? Bueno, básicamente, ¿cuáles son los retos de la ingeniería? Obviamente, bueno, esta es una imagen en la cual podemos mostrar o podemos definir cómo es nuestro actual método de trabajo, en la cual, bueno, la mayoría de los clientes no puedo generalizar, más sin embargo, la mayoría de los clientes, cuando tienen lo que es un proyecto, bueno, realmente hacen lo que es una inversión importante de tiempo y esfuerzo en hacer ingenierías individuales. Ahorita vamos a explicar un poco acerca de esta parte y tienen tal vez una pequeño porcentaje de lo que son sus librerías estandarizadas. ¿Qué significa esto? Que tal vez ustedes como compañías ya tienen ciertas, digamos lo que soluciones en la cual haces un copy-paste, pero son copy-paste básicos. Tienen que invertirle mucho tiempo para que ustedes puedan modificar y, bueno, configurar la información como con respecto a los datos que generan. Entonces aquí tenemos dos elementos en los cuales se define como ITO y CTO. Básicamente la ITO es ingeniería individual y CTO estandarizada. Vamos a definir un poco lo que es cada uno, ¿no? Bueno, lo que es el ITO es un tipo de proceso de manufactura en el cual, bueno, el producto es diseñado y finalizado después de la orden recibida. O sea, básicamente es ingeniería que yo estoy haciendo al momento de que yo tengo una requisición. en ingeniería de detalle, en la cual yo voy a hacer una requisición. ¿Ok? Y el CTO, pues bueno, es una ingeniería en la cual, un tipo de híbrido en la cual ya está identificada en ciertas funciones y puedo seguir reutilizando. Entonces, la idea en este caso es que se disminuya lo más posible la ingeniería individual y utilicemos más lo que es la parte de la ingeniería estandarizada. Por obvias razones, nunca vamos a dejar de tener ingenierías individuales porque, bueno, cada proyecto es diferente y hay que hacer modificaciones, más sin embargo, la tendencia es que tratemos de estandarizar lo más posible mediante ciertas metodologías y que el sitio sea pues la mayor cantidad de peso y obviamente entre mayor inversión de ingeniería estandarizada tenemos, el tiempo pues va a reducirse de manera considerable. Y eso nos va a ayudar a ser más efectivos y, bueno, obviamente también nos va a generar un ahorro de tiempo y de costos en la parte del proceso. Una vez teniendo esta información, identificando cuáles son los objetivos desde el punto de vista de ingeniería, bueno, podemos definir cuál es el flujo de de la orden en la cual, bueno, básicamente es muy típico desde el punto de vista del tiempo del ciclo de vida de un proyecto. ¿Qué es lo que hacemos como primer paso? Obviamente el cliente aquí nos hace los requerimientos en el cual pues, nos generan ciertas órdenes. Ya pueden ser órdenes preconfiguradas o estandarizadas que nosotros tenemos o algunos requerimientos especiales también. Esto básicamente recibimos la orden del cliente con todos los requerimientos y con las órdenes de trabajo. Recibimos la orden dentro de nuestra compañía, pues la orden que la recibe lo puede manejar un ERP interno o un cierto departamento en específico en el cual toma la información de las órdenes, como es una cotización, pues mucha de la información ya está predefinida, bueno, sobre todo de los equipos principales y podemos tener una prelista de los artículos que ya están definidos desde el requerimiento, también qué módulos vamos qué módulos vamos a requerir y qué opciones debe tener este proyecto en base a las órdenes y qué variantes también debemos de generar. Pero realmente esta es información como general de cómo va a ser el proyecto y bueno, es una información textual. Teniendo esta información, el siguiente paso es que el departamento de ingeniería, no sé si lo ven aquí, está en gris, internamente, ¿qué es lo que hace? Recoge la información de la orden y bueno, tenemos varios departamentos que trabajan en sincronía para poder llegar a la tarea. Es la parte mecánica, la parte de fluidos y la parte eléctrica. Empezamos a revisar dentro de las diferentes órdenes que tenemos, qué es lo que podemos reutilizar para poder disminuir ciertos tiempos. Es lo que conocemos el CTO o la configuración de la orden, en la cual ya tenemos ciertos componentes predefinidos, ciertas opciones predefinidas y ciertas variantes predefinidas. Teniendo esta información, pues bueno, ya tenemos el 80% de nuestro bill of material, en este caso podemos generarlo. Si en dado caso hay información que no está dentro de nuestra preconfiguración, pues tenemos que hacer lo que es la ingeniería. Ojo, no se confundan aquí que dice la terminología de ingeniería, que es el departamento de ingeniería, sino que tienen que desarrollar por primera vez, en este caso, pues la documentación eléctrica o mecánica, dependiendo de la información. Ya en esta parte, pues, se hace lo que es el ITO o la ingeniería to order, como lo habíamos visto previamente, y ya de aquí sacamos las nuevas construcciones, los nuevos procesos y los nuevos artículos que no se encontraban desde lo que es la preconfiguración o desde lo que es las librerías que contamos en este caso. Tenemos lo que es el bill of material, hacemos lo que es la conjunción de bill of material, además que, bueno, como somos un proyecto global, pues también tenemos que generar lo que es la información de la ingeniería de la manufactura, en la cual podemos, mediante algunas herramientas, hacer el digital twin de lo que es el armario, cómo va a quedar. Podemos generar los reportes de manufactura en cuestiones de conexiones, de las vistas 2D, de cómo van a colocar los equipos, de las vistas de perforaciones. Todos estos elementos, pues bueno, son generados en esta parte, en el departamento de ingeniería. Como nuevamente les comento, la tendencia es que el 80% en este caso sea información configurable y solamente un 20% pues invertamos en desarrollar nuevas tecnologías, ¿no? Ya tenemos lo que es la parte de la manufactura, hacemos la manufactura del armario con la información que nos provee ingeniería, hacemos un ensamble o preensamble, ya podemos tal vez hacer un ensamble final donde conjuntamos la parte de los armarios con lo que es la parte mecánica. Finalmente hacemos el comisionamiento y la operación. Entonces, este es el ciclo de vida que tenemos que hacer. Vamos a tocar un poco acerca de esta parte, ya que, bueno, en ocasiones esta es la parte medular y el punto de conexión entre las diferentes áreas, la parte de ingeniería. Bueno, para poder hacer trabajar de manera efectiva en lo que es la parte de ingeniería, pues tenemos ciertos assessment. Nosotros como compañía global, bueno, hemos tenido experiencias con miles de usuarios, ya que somos una compañía global, que tenemos más de 35 años de experiencia. Creamos una metodología para definir cuál es el nivel de eficiencia de los departamentos, tanto de ingeniería como de manufactura. Hay tres tipos de análisis. Uno en base a lo que es el uso del software. Obviamente el objetivo de ahí solamente es mejorar el tiempo de los diseñadores, mas sin embargo hay otros dos puntos importantes en la cual hacemos un análisis completo del departamento de ingeniería desde que se recibe lo que es la orden de especificación, donde se hace el desarrollo, donde se genera el bill of material, la ingeniería, los diseños, la revisión, reportes y bueno, se hace el 2D, ¿no? Perdón, el 3D de los equipos. O también podemos hacer assessment del negocio completo, donde, bueno, ingeniería es un eslabón más de toda una cadena de valor. Entonces, aquí lo que hacemos es que tratamos de revisar cuáles son los procesos internos de ingeniería mediante lo que es una clasificación. Y hacemos una metodología de trabajo en la cual nosotros, en base a ciertas preguntas, podemos ver cuáles son el nivel de conocimiento o de uso de los software. No necesariamente tiene que ser de EPLAN, en la cual hacemos preguntas generales de los procesos actuales, no solamente en cuestiones de dibujo, sino cómo reciben cierta información, cómo transfieren las informaciones, si manejan algún estándar, si manejan algunas plantillas, etcétera, etcétera. Y bueno, hacemos esta información general y nos da una tabla de eficiencia. En este caso, esta tabla de eficiencia viene categorizada por 5 niveles, en la cual podemos detectar en qué nivel están bueno, cada compañía en particular en base a sus procesos, y podemos detectar, por ejemplo, que del nivel 1 al 2, pues realmente es digámoslo que un proceso de ingeniería muy básico, en la cual, bueno, hacen un diseño que no está ligado a artículos, trabajan de manera manual, hacen solamente el copy-paste, y bueno, obviamente la eficiencia es muy baja. Si pasan a un siguiente nivel, en la cual ya usan plantillas, usan algunos artículos, hacen lo que es la tecnología de macros, y bueno, trabajan de manera más organizada, pues va a aumentar lo que es la eficiencia. Si se conjunta toda la parte del punto intermedio, pero además le meten tecnología de macros y algunas interfaces, pues obviamente el tiempo se va a reducir. Y bueno, hay algunas otras integraciones con RPs y otras configuraciones, ¿no? Ese es el nivel o la clasificación que podemos nosotros como solución de servicios identificar. Pues se preguntarán, ¿para qué es importante esto? En base a esta tabla, nosotros podemos proponer cuál es la meta de eficiencia, y además, bueno, con cierta información que ustedes nos pueden proveer. Obviamente esta información es confidencial, aquí es un ejemplo, no es un proyecto, no es información de algún cliente, en la cual, bueno, básicamente nos dicen cuántos usuarios son los que trabajan en la compañía, en el diseño, cuánto es el promedio de hora, cuántos proyectos tienen por el año, la cantidad de hojas, cuánto tiempo invierten en hacer lo que son la parte de diseño de ingeniería. Podemos hacer una prospección de cuánto es lo que estás gastando en este momento, y cuánto es el porcentaje de eficiencia, y cuánto es lo que gastarías en este caso, en caso de haber estado en este punto, y te da lo que es un retorno de inversión de los elementos, ¿no? Además que no solamente nos enfocamos en la parte del retorno de inversión, que es importante, cuánto tiempo, cuánto dinero ahorras, sino también te podemos hacer una gráfica en la cual podemos detectar cuál es tu situación actual, dónde inviertes más tiempo y, bueno, en base a nuestras soluciones de servicios, cuánto tiempo es el tiempo que puedes reducir, ¿no? Y bueno, obviamente todo esto es una justificante. Una vez teniendo la parte de ingeniería, pues bueno, ya nos podemos enfocar también a lo que es un assessment de lo que es la compañía completa, en la cual, bueno, ya ve ciertos factores externos, una vez teniendo la información ya bien generada en la parte del ICAT, en la cual puedes hacer las integraciones con los software mecánicos, por ejemplo, CRIO, con algún PDM, bueno, también puede ser con algún ERP. Como diseño eléctrico, pues en este caso puedes también tener la comunicación con lo que son PLCs, donde puedan también generar la parte de manufactura de los armarios, tanto internos como externos. Aquí lo que hacemos es un big picture, una vez que tenemos bien definido o bien desarrollado nuestro departamento de ingeniería y detectamos cuáles son los flujos automáticos, en el cual no tienen ningún problema, pero vamos detectando cuáles son el flujo que es manual, donde son los cuellos de botella y donde existen la mayor cantidad de errores debido a que no hay una comunicación transparente de estos datos, ¿no? Teniendo una vez esta información, pues bueno, ya podemos apoyarlos mediante lo que es la metodología de Plan Experience, en la cual, bueno, básicamente son 8 campos de acción, donde tocamos los puntos desde lo más básico, desde saber la infraestructura que deben de tener para que las máquinas, para que los software puedan trabajar de manera correcta, no solamente la parte eléctrica, sino tal vez si ustedes tienen un software mecánico, pues también se debe considerar esta parte. De qué manera tiene que estar centralizada la información para que pueda haber una comunicación dentro de lo que son los usuarios. Y bueno, obviamente antes de empezar con lo que es la parte de la ingeniería, pues tenemos que definir un estándar, en qué estándar vamos a trabajar internacional para poder seguir ciertas reglas y lineamientos desde lo que son los cajetines, la simbología, la numeración, la nomenclatura, todo en base a normativas internacionales. Y una vez teniendo las normativas, ya podemos empezar a estructurar nuestro proyecto, creando subdivisiones, obviamente siempre respaldando de los estándares, pero ya enfocados a tareas puntuales de nuestra compañía. Y bueno, ya teniendo estas estructuraciones, ya podemos empezar con lo que son la metodología de diseños. Podemos detectar cuáles son los flujos de trabajo en la cual podemos integrar, ya empezar a integrar otros componentes u otros software que no sean netamente de eléctricos, sino que a lo mejor en este caso ustedes reciben la información de la parte mecánica a la parte eléctrica, o la parte eléctrica le envíen la parte de programación, y poder ir detectando de qué manera podemos hacer integración con estos otros disciplinas para poder hacer más rápido lo que es un proyecto. Y bueno, obviamente finalmente tenemos que tener un project manager para que pueda hacer una asignación de tareas y también lo que son tiempos. Esto es, bueno, esto es digamos lo que la base de las soluciones. ¿Cuáles son las estrategias? Pues bueno, mediante lo que son consultorías, mediante lo que son también, obviamente, la parte de los software que vamos a seleccionar, eléctrico, mecánico, de programación, de lo que son manufactura. Se tiene que hacer una implementación y bueno, el soporte global es importante para poder sacar más rápido pues las dudas que tenemos, ¿no? Y una vez teniendo esto, pues podemos tener una visión general o total de una solución. Una vez teniendo estas soluciones, pues bueno, ya podemos hacer una detección del Big Picture. En este caso habíamos detectado cuáles son los cuellos de botella y bueno, mediante los assessments podemos hacer una planeación de inversión de software, de soluciones, por ejemplo, de ingenierías típicas, estructuraciones, plantillas de proyecto, de qué manera se pueden integrar, por ejemplo, con los PLCs, ¿ok? Y bueno, igual con los PDMs, RPs, y mandar esta información en la parte de manufactura. Y bueno, Carlos, no sé si gustas continuar en esta parte.
Sí, gracias, Juan. ¿Puedes ceder los derechos, por favor?
Sí, claro que sí.
Listo. Gracias. Ok, perfecto. Bueno, continuando con lo que mencionaba Juan, Este es, digamos, un vistazo de lo que podemos nosotros llegar a poder implementar con la solución de EPLAN. Es un vistazo general de dónde estamos posicionados, qué es lo que podemos nosotros ayudarles en implementar la solución de EPLAN. Ustedes ven aquí, por ejemplo, lo que está pintado en color rojo son las soluciones de EPLAN. Dentro de estas soluciones de EPLAN puede ser ingenierías conceptuales, hay módulos específicos para ingenierías de fluidos, por ejemplo, hidráulica, neumática, obviamente la parte eléctrica, ingeniería de control, potencia, va dentro de esta parte. También está una solución enfocada a la parte de los gabinetes, cómo va a quedar en 3D físicamente mi proyecto. Es decir, esta información es meramente de las soluciones, digamos, ya propiamente del software, ¿no? Desde el concepto hasta la parte de la manufactura. Entonces, todo esto también nos va a originar pues listas de materiales, documentos que van a servir para otros departamentos. Como pueden ver aquí en esta filmina, no nada más es para el departamento de ingeniería, sino esto va a impactar en diferentes rubros de departamentos. También incluso desde ventas, desde que se hace la propuesta del proyecto como tal, desde aquí del configurador. Como para los que pudieron asistir a las presentaciones anteriores, podemos hacer las configuraciones previas de un proyecto ya teniendo las especificaciones de ese proyecto que me está pidiendo mi cliente, ¿no? Entonces, desde el área comercial, pasando por ingenierías de detalle, ingenierías básicas, ingenierías para la parte de la manufactura. Entonces, toda esta información va ahora sí a ser distribuida, ya sea para el área de ensamble, para el área de manufactura, para el área de compras, etcétera, para el programador, incluso que ustedes ven aquí abajo, que también podemos comunicarnos con la parte de los programas, del software, por ejemplo, de PLCs. Podemos comunicarnos con softwares también para con el corte de los cables, con máquinas de CNCs, con impresoras para mandar a imprimir todo automáticamente. Entonces, esta información sirve para tenerlo a la mano, ¿no? Aparte también lo mecánico es importante también tenerlo en mente, toda la parte de la coordinación y diferentes softwares que nos ayudan a administrar los recursos, ¿no? Como pueden ser softwares RP, PDMs, como pueden ser SAP, Oracle, entre otros. Y la novedad ahorita es la parte de las soluciones en la nube, que a partir de la nube nosotros podemos empezar a desarrollar proyectos con las soluciones que ya manejan el software de EPLAN. Es decir, poder hacer las configuraciones de un proyecto nuevo o de un proyecto existente, si es un proyecto que ya está estandarizado, como lo mencionaba Juan Carlos, ETO, Engineer to Order, pues bueno, entonces esto ya lo podemos nosotros gestionar desde la nube. Es decir, con simples clics podemos hacer un proyecto completo de N número de hojas, ¿no? Pueden ser un proyecto de 200 hojas en cuestión de minutos. ¿Por qué? Porque ya tenemos el ETO, es decir, ya tenemos el estándar de nuestras ingenierías. Eso es importante y primordial conocer. Para lo que es nuevo, ahí es donde les toca hacer este tipo de soluciones. Por aquí el departamento de soporte ayuda para que puedan ustedes estandarizarse en los procesos. Es decir, van a contar con el soporte técnico, con los especialistas, con los consultores, para que les platiquen de su proyecto, si ustedes quieren estandarizar sus ingenierías que ya conocen, su ETO, es decir, todo lo que se puede estandarizar como algo repetitivo, como algo reutilizable. Eso lo podemos nosotros tener visualizado dentro de nuestro proyecto y que el know-how se conserve en la compañía. Entonces, ya teniendo esta información, entre más litio esté dentro de la compañía, es decir, entre más estandarizada sea nuestra ingeniería, que simplemente con checkmarks me ayude a configurar mi proyecto, pues más eficiente va a ser el tiempo de entrega, más eficiente va a ser la entrega de los proyectos, más eficiente va a ser el ensamble también, porque ya, si ustedes ven la documentación que genera, también es de etiquetado, que ustedes ven al lado derecho, etiquetado, información de diagramas, información de listas de cableado, de listas de perforación, y esta información también les ayuda para la gente de ensamble para que puedan hacer sus tableros sus máquinas, sus líneas de producción de una manera más eficiente y a través de la nube, ¿no? Ahora también, algo importante es de que desde la nube también podemos nosotros tener acceso o darle acceso más bien al proyecto a los distintos usuarios finales. Entonces, esta información también la pueden obtener desde la nube y desde aquí pueden ellos empezar a ver su proyecto. Ya no es nada más imprime en PDF o imprime las hojas de mi proyecto, ¿no? Sino que ahora desde la nube podemos visualizar nuestro proyecto, agregar comentarios, dar un mantenimiento óptimo a nuestros diagramas. Tal vez a lo mejor soy integrador firmo alguna póliza de mantenimiento para que mi cliente final ahora ya se asegure y le aseguremos de que siempre van a estar actualizados nuestros diagramas eléctricos, siempre van a estar actualizados el proyecto e incluso también poder tener un lazo con el usuario final para cualquier cambio o modificación que exista en el diagrama posterior a la entrega ya sea mucho más eficiente. Entonces, para todo esto, como podrán ver, no por sí solo el software no lo va a hacer, no lo va a hacer. Ustedes, por eso es que nosotros recomendamos ampliamente tener el soporte de nuestros especialistas, quienes son los expertos que nos pueden ayudar a saber cómo está su proceso internamente. El primer paso es conocer su proceso, ¿no? Entonces, es como si hiciéramos un diagnóstico primeramente de sus procesos, cómo están actualmente, cómo les gustaría estar, qué información es la que desean ustedes estandarizar, qué es lo que quieren mejorar. Nos platican sus cuellos de botella y empezamos a hacer un plan que sea funcional para ustedes. Cada plan es diferente en cada compañía. Unos están más preocupados a lo mejor por los tiempos de entrega, otros están preocupados por entregar propuestas en tiempo récord, otros a lo mejor quieren mejorar la calidad de la documentación al momento del ensamble. Es decir, cada uno tiene sus propios retos, ¿no? Entonces, platicamos con ustedes para que nos digan qué es lo que ustedes quisieran mejorar y qué les podemos ayudar, porque tenemos un plan específico para cada uno de sus proyectos. Aparte del entrenamiento que es vital también para conocer el producto, el software, hay paquetes de consultoría que son los que ven a continuación, que pueden ser escalables, es decir, por etapas. Es decir, no es nada más el software, tomo el curso y ya yo voy a empezar a hacer el proyecto. Pueden empezar a hacerlo, pero la curva de aprendizaje va a ser más prolongada. A que si nosotros hacemos un paquete que incluya entrenamiento de los módulos que ustedes hayan seleccionado y luego aparte un plan de capacitación, un plan de consultoría que vaya orientado al estándar, a generar los CTOs, a generar todo lo que sea reutilizable para evitar tiempos muertos, para evitar retrabajos o evitar alguna falla al final del proyecto. Entonces, eso nos ayuda también para estandarizarnos y para que el know-how se conserve en la compañía. Entonces, es completamente modularizado. Hay 3 niveles. Está el nivel básico, en donde los temas se imparten sobre la base del software, es decir, cómo hacer más eficiente la parte del software, cómo empezar a automatizar poco a poco estos niveles. En la etapa 2, pues bueno, ya se hablan de los temas un poco más orientados a la productividad, de cómo quiero, qué tan rápido quiero hacer mi ingeniería o cómo lo puedo hacer para ser más eficiente, ¿no? Y el nivel 3 es, bueno, ya cuando se hace la elaboración de los datos del cliente, qué es lo que se puede respaldar, qué necesito, es decir, ya se hace un plan a la medida, ¿no? Por ejemplo, aquí ustedes tienen alguna práctica que nosotros recomendamos, que es desde la iniciación del proyecto, ustedes nos platican, se hace el análisis previamente con ustedes, nos platicamos de su proyecto hoy en día, cómo se entrega, nos muestran incluso un proyecto que ustedes hagan, nosotros analizamos y tomamos nota. Básicamente es el primer paso, tomar nota de lo que hacen actualmente y ya en una segunda reunión vamos viendo cómo poder implementarlo. Preparamos un plan en donde les entregamos un PDF, un entregable, en el cual les decimos, mira, este va a ser el plan que nosotros detectamos de acuerdo al diagnóstico que hicimos o el assessment que hicimos previamente, ¿no? Esto nos va a garantizar que nos ajustemos a la medida y que nos ajustemos a lo que ustedes están buscando implementar. No los dejamos solos para que ustedes hagan el estándar, sino que están siempre de la mano con nuestros especialistas para que cuenten con ellos en todo momento durante el servicio de mantenimiento que ustedes tengan activos. Y bueno, las consultorías también son por separado, se hace un plan a la medida, ¿no? Se tocan temas desde el ambiente de trabajo, ambiente de proyecto, cómo configurar las ingenierías típicas. Si ustedes detectan que algo se puede configurar, nos platican y nos dicen, mira, estos son mis diagramas, normalmente es lo que yo utilizo, quiero que me lo configures para que sea reutilizable, que sea ITO y que cada vez menos sea ingeniería individual, ¿no? Porque cuando hay ingeniería individual, pues no es lo mismo que si ponemos a hacer un proyecto, a pesar de que sea el mismo al ingeniero 1 o al ingeniero 2, porque cada uno lo va a hacer a su manera, cada uno tiene su propio estándar, cada uno tiene sus normas, su propia manera de cablear, su propia manera de etiquetar, a lo mejor utiliza una simbología que no es la del estándar. Entonces eso lo que va haciendo es de que vayan surgiendo distintas normas, distintos estándares dentro de una compañía incluso. Y lo que buscamos es que exista un estándar de la plantilla que sea reutilizable, que digamos, esta es la norma europea y esta es la norma americana. quiero que la plantilla norteamericana tenga esta estructura, que tenga este método, que esté desglosada y organizada de tal manera que sea mucho más fácil la lectura para mi cliente, que tenga lo de potencia arriba, lo de control, que tenga los tableros, y cada uno de los tableros me dé la documentación de información técnica, de información de librerías, de información de listas de materiales, de etiquetados, de perforaciones, etc. Ese tipo de detalles que son personalizados, esos reportes se platican también en el assessment para que nosotros hagamos ese tipo de reportes. Incluso podemos tomar el proyecto completo, que nos digan, quiero que me hagas ese estándar, y ya les entregamos una plantilla ya hecha, ya con todas las configuraciones, ya con todo lo predefinido, para que ustedes nada más tengan que empezar a arrastrar y soltar los nuevos componentes para su tablero, ¿no? Entonces, eso también lo podemos hacer. Y este es parte de un ejemplo que hicimos con un cliente, en el cual le definimos las etapas. Aquí ustedes ven en color rojo lo que nos correspondía a nosotros hacer y lo que le correspondía al cliente hacer al final de la entrega, ¿no? El primer paso, como ya mencionamos, era definir el estándar, definir el assessment, creación de las ingenierías típicas, y el cliente, bueno, ya se iba a encargar de utilizarlo dentro de la compañía. Se hizo un proyecto piloto y, bueno, al final también lo que acordamos con este cliente final es de que se iba a estandarizar con sus proveedores también. Así es como nosotros hemos estado entrando con las distintas empresas que son integradoras, que son usuarios finales, OEMs, para que a sus integradores les pidan en formato EPLAN. Esto para que también el usuario final tenga el beneficio de que van a estar estandarizadas sus ingenierías independientemente del integrador que le toque, sino que ya especificamos el estándar con el cliente final, y el cliente final dice, quiero quiero que sea mi estándar, esta va a ser la versión, así quiero que me entregue la ingeniería. ¿Por qué? Porque así garantiza que cualquier proyecto que ellos reciban de sus miles de proveedores sean siempre estandarizados y ellos tengan la facilidad de leer todo lo que constituye el proyecto, y que no cada uno lo haga a su manera, sino que tenga una estructura en el proyecto, ¿no? Que tenga una nomenclatura, que tenga un estándar. Entonces eso se les comparte a los proveedores y ellos empiezan a hacer ingeniería. Entonces eso es una etapa también de estandarización. Y eso se puede hacer tanto como empresas grandes, como usuarios finales, o también se puede hacer dentro de empresas de integradoras o casas de ingeniería, que ustedes digan, quiero tener dos estándares, uno norteamericano, uno europeo, y que dentro de esos estándares ya venga mi proceso bien definido para que yo entregue a mi cliente de esta manera, ¿no? Nos acoplamos a lo que, y nos adaptamos a lo que ustedes nos piden como estándar, y lo plasmamos en el software. La idea aquí es que de su conocimiento lo vaciemos en el software, y ahora sí el software por sí solo empiece a hacer todo automáticamente, todo lo referente al diseño de manera más eficiente, sin errores, que sea más reutilizable y que lo puedan visualizar distintos departamentos. Entonces eso básicamente es parte de lo que hacemos. Esta es la organización en cuanto en este proyecto, en este ejemplo de proyecto, y quién participó en este proyecto de estandarización. Y bueno, ahorita en este momento ya se concretó uno más de los que tenemos, y así es como hemos estado haciendo para poder estandarizar nuestros procesos con nuestros clientes finales y también con nuestros integradores, ¿verdad? Entonces, básicamente esto es lo que tenemos preparado, un plan de implementación. Como podrán ver, por sí solo el software pues tiene mil funciones, ¿no? Lo importante aquí es dedicarle el tiempo para que pueda ser realmente utilizable, reutilizable, que pueda sacarle el mayor provecho, porque ¿qué pasa cuando nada más se adquiere el software y nada más se adquiere el curso básico y dejamos ahí al cliente que haga su propio estándar y empieza a lo mejor a meterle mano a otro ingeniero y empezamos a mezclar información y se empieza a desviar el tema principal del software, que es estandarizar las ingenierías? Entonces, eso es vital para poder sacarle el mayor jugo al software. La inversión que ustedes hicieron inicialmente es propiamente de la herramienta, pero digamos, nosotros recomendamos que se tenga un plan adecuado con cada uno de ustedes. Si ustedes están abiertos a que podamos entablar una charla, que nos platiquen su proyecto, que nos platiquen de qué es lo que ustedes quisieran mejorar, podemos hacer un plan de implementación para que vean a qué nivel puede llegar la parte del ahorro de los tiempos, la parte del ahorro de los costos. Incluso estamos considerando ahorros de hasta un 80% en cuanto a tiempos de diseño y tiempos de ensamble, ya en conjunto, y aparte del valor agregado que le damos al cliente con la información que ya hay en la nube, ¿no? Entonces, de esta manera hacemos más productiva la información, y bueno, básicamente es lo que tenemos preparado en este momento, que sepan que existe un plan de implementación, que existen los expertos, que está bien respaldado con nuestros especialistas aquí en México y en Latinoamérica. Juan Carlos como líder de la parte de servicios, a su cargo están distintos consultores que les pueden apoyar para ello, ¿no?
Muchas gracias a todos y bueno, espero que tengan una buena tarde.
Gracias nuevamente, que tengan buena tarde.
Muchas gracias por su participación el día de hoy. Esperamos que esta conferencia haya sido de gran valor para ustedes. Recuerden que estaremos disponibles en los chats para responder cualquier duda o pregunta que pueda surgir, y les invitamos nuevamente a pasarse por el stand de ePlan para revisar todo el contenido que tenemos preparado. Gracias y que tengan excelente evento.
eBuild is the latest cloud-based solution of ePulse, which is available to all users of ePlan Electric P8 or Fluid from version 2.8 onwards. With eBuild you have access to predefined libraries and you can generate complete schematics with just a few clicks. The easy-to-use interface and the selection of options takes you directly to the complete schematics. ePlan enables guided engineering. eBuild is for free, easy to use, it increases your quality, it saves time and it reduces your errors. Once you have registered for ePulse, you can enter eBuild directly through the ePlan Electric P8 or Fluid user interface. eBuild supports you in your daily work and helps you to get more time for the exciting engineering tasks. Just give it a try.
The ePlan platform includes products that are tailored to provide efficiencies in design and engineering of electrical and automation projects. ePlan has always been the tool that allows electrical engineers to excel and outperform the competition. Although ePlan may be part of your vision, you need to know for sure that it's going to work and that you'll be able to show your team. The ePlan guided trial team of experts can help you with this task. This test drive of sorts is not only free, but it includes a real project plan with guidance and support from an ePlan certified consultant. So what are you waiting for? Your journey starts here. info.eplanusa.com/guided-trial.
When we wake up in the morning, the world has changed again. And if change is the single constant of today, whether in automation, digital transformation, mechatronics, or electrical engineering, we should take change as what it is. Chance. Our mission? We want to design the future of engineering. Designing the future means being open to everyone and every idea. We connect engineers, systems, data and disciplines worldwide for machine and panel builders. Designing the future means empowering. We empower engineers all over the world to realize their ideas. Our tools and solutions enable you to maximize your efficiency, customized to your needs, from simple to high-end. Designing the future means being future-proof. We lead the market with more than 50,000 customers and with 19 languages. We offer local support in more than 50 countries. This makes us the global partner for you and your future success. Because efficient engineering is when a plan becomes ePlan. Collaboration means being close to our customers, listening to your needs and your challenges, and understanding how we can help you to plan and shape the future. Let's ePlan.
Hi, I'm Jennifer Payne, and I'm the Business Sales Manager for Master Data. We hope you're enjoying your time at the Rockwell Automation Fair at home today. I'm going to show you a presentation about all the new insights regarding the new and improved data portal, which was originally recorded at the ePlan Virtual Fair in September. Please feel free to ask any questions in the chat, and we'll get to those right away. Thanks again for joining us, and let's go ahead and get started.
So, yeah, good afternoon or even good morning, everybody. Good morning to those who are joining from the United States. I've seen our colleague Jennifer Payne also joining. Hi, Jennifer. Welcome to our virtual manufacturer event as a part of the ePlan Virtual Fair. We are very happy to guide you through, I would say, 1.5 or almost 2 hours of, I would say, exciting topics in terms of what kind of value would it bring you to be a part of the ePlan data portal, or what kind of new tools would we have available to hopefully automate or speed up the data generation process? Are there any news coming from standardization? Give you an answer, yes, we have something really exciting. It's the ePlan data standard. Thomas Pinks will say something about that later on. And in total, we are around about 4 or 5 colleagues as your host here today. Please use this chance also to chat with us. You have a chat opportunity in your tool, in your virtual conferencing tool. So we are here to give you some answers directly. But don't worry, we also have our contact data mentioned in these slides. So let me just briefly start with the first presentation. This should be the opening presentation about the ePlan data portal. Maybe you noticed that some changes in the software industry took place in the last years. I remember when I first installed my Microsoft Word on my computer pretty a while ago. It was a setup exe file you needed to open, and then you were able to work proprietary on your system, not being able to share some data with anybody else. Nowadays, a lot of tools are hosted in the cloud. We call it software as a service. And right now, you are already able to use at least the Microsoft Office products right in your Windows Internet Explorer tool or even the Google Chrome browser. And this means you do not necessarily have to install any kind of application on your local machine anymore. This cloud approach brings a lot of advantages. One advantage is you do not have to work with fat clients anymore. Thin clients are fully enough. It brings a lot of new possibilities in terms of data sharing, collaboration, and so on. And ePlan, as an industry vendor of software and leader, at least in the electrical CAD software field here in Europe, and especially in Germany, we decided to go the same way, meaning we will offer more and more cloud-based services. And one of them is the ePlan data portal. So this is not regarded to be the ePlan cloud. It is a part of the ePlan cloud. So as a company, we have some claims out in the market. As mentioned before, we have a quite stable and successful history here in Europe and the German-speaking countries. And ePlan's name is briefly sticked to the industry of electrical CAD, meaning we would like to provide high-quality tools that are able to manage whole projects, meaning all processes right from the beginning, from the ideation phase until the delivery or even maintenance and repair phase. We are sending out the claim to be able to organize those projects and in the end standardize everything already during electrical development, meaning standardization is a key topic. Very important, at least when you have a view on the ePlan data portal, is the topic of data quality. We are really investing huge efforts in bringing you the best available data quality from our manufacturers on the data portal. And this is necessary to be able to run a full-fledged cloud service later on, but we will see it on the upcoming slides. What is very important to mention is that we are busy and pretty active in the field of electrical engineering. This should be or will be the case in the future, meaning we will not look very much left and right into topics such as Internet of Things or other things that are not related to our core competency, meaning it is and will be electrical engineering. On this slide, I show you something that I would like to call the solution blueprint. So this is how our cloud offering could or should look in the future. And the future means some years from now. On the lower left side, you see so-called third-party providers. Nowadays, when you open your mobile phone and you would like to install a new app, you have to go into the Apple App Store or the Google Play Store to download software. And this is something you could also imagine in relation to the ePlan ePulse Cloud, meaning you would be able to download third-party applications that do not necessarily have to come from ePlan or the manufacturers on board of the ePlan data portal. It could be just separate software companies who are specialized on topics such as predictive maintenance or kind of business analytics and so on. So this would be a part of our digital marketplace. On the lower right side, you see our aims to integrate bigger customers, including their environments in terms of cloud. On the upper left side, you might see maybe yourself already, because this is the topic closely related to the ePlan data portal. We already have the possibility to integrate manufacturers' software into the EDP. A good example is a configurator from Rittal, for example, but also from Schneider Electric. These configurators are pretty much integrated into the EDP, meaning they are more or less, they're not hosted there, but they have a deep link into the EDP. And you can use their logic. And in the end, the corresponding parts that are necessary for your project to get finalized will be displayed there, and you are able to download them. Last but not least, we will not forget the mechanical CAD world. You see it on the right side. We already have some interfaces to, such as Siemens Teamcenter, for example, but we will provide further integrations directly from the cloud into the PDM field of business. And of course, also to the world of enterprise resource planning, ERP, such as not only SAP, also to smaller systems. So that's it in total, and that's our journey. And how we are realizing this journey, as it is really a big effort. You can see it, we basically generated 3 working packages. One is the on-premise world, where we are still in, or at least a little bit in, meaning install your software, use the software, and then create successful project. Horizon 2 is already some kind of transition into a cloud kind of business model, software as a service cloud. And we already have offerings that are hosted in the cloud. So you are warmly welcome to register for free in epulse.com. Just open your browser, type in epulse.com, and you can register without having the necessity to be an ePlan customer right now. You can also register there for free. And you will get a first overview of what kind of tools we already have available. Tools are things such as eView Commerce, eBuild, what is a quite fascinating story. It lets you automate parts of the generation of your schematics. DIM, eWire, or eManage. eManage is a small PDM electrical approach, such as like a small data management system that's also already hosted as a service in our cloud. And last but not least, of course, the ePlan data portal mentioned here on first step. But remember, the ePlan data portal is not synonymous for the ePlan cloud offering. It is just a part of that. Finally, with Horizon 3, we would like to establish a digital ecosystem, as mentioned before, with apps hosted there, third-party software, and so on. And because at least myself, I cannot read what's written there on this slide, you see it a little bit bigger here. So it all begins with capable software. You need to have capable software out there on the market that provides good functions that are really useful in daily business. If that you can win through features and functions, that's an entry point into the whole story. And the second important thing is to have the right data on the data portal, meaning up-to-date data but also in the highest possible quality. And it's really a challenge. Standardizing is not easy. That's what we can really tell you. It's a lot of selling, of course, the overall plan or vision or idea. And it requires a lot of discipline because it could mean that some manufacturers have to rethink some of their processes or even maybe do some manual work to gather some data internally to be able to generate this high quality data together with us. But don't worry, it's also a lot of efforts on our side. So finally, we believe we are a very good team together with our manufacturers. So only if you have the right software, including the right functions, plus a huge amount of high quality data, you will be able to set up a digital platform and run this digital platform. If nothing is standardized and more or less everybody is publishing data as he or she wishes, it would be very difficult to program applications or other services to give our end users more possibilities to work with electrical CAD software. And this is why number one, the software, plus number two, the quality data are the basic requirements to be able to generate a digital platform. So already the last slide is the whole process. You can see in very easy words or drawings how it works. On the lower left side, you see the operator. The operator would be, for example, a car manufacturer, just anyone, German one, foreign one, it doesn't matter. Let's assume the car manufacturer has huge business and he says, okay, we need a new production line. So he starts with the specification and the planning. And because they are not building up these plans themselves anymore, because that's not their core competency, they're looking for so-called OEMs, original equipment manufacturers, or we also call them system integrators. So these are bigger companies who are out there in the market and who are specialized in building up, in this example, production lines. And they are continuing with the point 2 and 3A, where I'm just seeing that the text is missing, but it doesn't matter. 2 is basic engineering and 3A is detailed engineering. So this is what is done with the OEMs and the system integrators. And themselves, they are not building up the cabinets that are necessary to run the production line. So they move over the whole story to a panel builder, and the panel builder are the guys who are engineering the digital twin. And the brilliant tool for the digital twin is ePlan Pro Panel, for example. They are engineering the schematics that you can do with ePlan P8. And they are also the ones who will finally install the cabinet, meaning they are really doing the physical work and wiring and mounting everything together. So to be successful as a panel builder, you need highly qualified and high quality data. Of course, they could sit down and generate the data themselves. What's a huge amount of time. And this is what actually nobody really likes to do anymore nowadays, because the people do not have the time. And the ePlan data portal comes in place here. And those guys, electrical engineers at the panel builder, they are the ones who make the component decision on the ePlan data portal and who finally also download the components and engineer them or implement them into their schematics. So if you are even more correct, you could say that it is the panel builder or the engineer working at the panel builder who is making the purchasing decision, because they are picking the parts from whatever manufacturer from the ePlan data portal and later on generating a bill of materials. And they are sending this bill of material to their sourcing department, who is just purchasing those products through a distributor or maybe directly from the manufacturer. And this is where you, as maybe a new manufacturer or an existing one, comes into place. So the view on the data portal for many manufacturers is that it is more or less a sales help. Some call it even a sales tool. And the view from the electrical engineers on the data portal is it's a great story to save a huge amount of time and speed up the engineering process and probably lower the costs, because they do not have to sit there hours for hours and generate parts by themselves. So in the end, let's look at the last point. It should be 7 somewhere on the slide. It's a little bit like a Christmas calendar where you have chocolate behind each red box. Yeah, operation 7. That's the last point in our user story. This would be the topic of maintenance and repair. And within all these red boxes, ePlan is offering at least a piece of software or a service. And this means, and that's the fascinating thing here on this slide, ePlan is present with software and our services in the whole value chain of electrical engineering. And in the future, it should be that everything would be in a kind of cloud offering, meaning cloud-based. And this could mean significant, time savings in projects as well. And that's one of our goals that we fulfill or follow in the next years. So that's it already. This was my short presentation. I would briefly like to introduce you to my colleagues who are also on board here. We have Jennifer Payne from the United States. I'm not sure if Jennifer's microphone is working and if she's a moderator, but she's the one who is... hi, Jennifer. Would you like to say about yourself, how you could help some American manufacturers, if you like?
Sure, thank you. I am the business sales manager for Master Data, and I cover the Americas, so the US, United States, Canada, Brazil, and Mexico. And I'm here to help bring new manufacturers onto the data portal as well as to develop them and any questions that they may have regarding the data portal. So if I'm here to help in any way that a manufacturer has any questions regarding our services and within our team. Thank you.
Fantastic. Thanks a lot, Jennifer. We have 2 more colleagues based in Shanghai, Ning Zhu and Qingbo Liu. Both of them participated in our morning round that started at 8 a.m. already, and I believe they are not working anymore. It should be bedtime for them. And we have a Japanese colleague, Koji Yamashita, who likes to help you out in Japan. And of course, our European colleagues, I think they're well known, at least to the manufacturers from Europe who are on board here in the call, Juan Castillo and Robin Eitzke. And that's basically our team. And yeah, thanks a lot for participating today. And let me hand over to the next presenter.
It's me.
Yes, Josephine. Okay, now you are a moderator, Josephine.
Yes. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
The screen is here. Voice is also working well, so the stage is yours now.
Great. Thanks a lot. So yeah. Hello, everyone. Also from my side, my name is Josephine Heck, and I will give you today some insights on the new ePlan data portal and show you also the new user interface and some new functionalities inside the ePlan data portal. So I present the user side of this tool today. I'd like to start with something general on the ePlan data portal. You might know that the ePlan data portal is an exchange portal for parts data between the manufacturer of parts and the engineers and designers who work in ePlan with these data. They use the offered parts data to create schematics, parts lists, 3D panel layouts, and also production data. The customers have added value by using this high quality parts data. They save time because he doesn't need to create and search for the data by himself. And also the probability of mistakes will be reduced if he uses the data from the data portal, because he doesn't need to search everything and create everything by himself. For the manufacturer of the parts, the EDP could also be seen as a sales toolkit as a sales tool and as a tool to create customer loyalty. The customer can make his decision which part he uses first to create the schematic and later for the panel on the basis of the offered data in the data portal. This means that this added value exists on both sides of the exchange of data. Next, I'd like to share some numbers of the ePlan data portal. You'll find there more than 620,000 function templates for around 1 million devices in the data portal, which is a very large number. Additional to this 1 million devices, you can configure user-specific variants of different parts from different manufacturers. So you have additional possibilities to find the right data for the right part. The data portal is available in 19 different languages, so it really can be used by engineers all over the world. The user community is continuously growing. At the moment, we have around 3,600 new registrations per month. So in future, more and more engineers can use the parts data while creating their schematics. The users who are active in the data portal, they download more than 1 million parts per month, which also shows that the portal is highly used by engineers who work with ePlan. In the data portal, more than 300 manufacturers offer their parts data at the moment, which is also, and this number is also growing continuously. And at the moment, we have 6 selectors or configurators from leading manufacturers, with which the users can easily select or configure parts or variants, part variants which fit to their needs. The number of ePlan data standard parts is also continuously growing, so more and more parts data are available in a standardized format, which means also an added value for the users. At the moment, already more than 35,000 parts data follow this regulations of the ePlan data standard. Here you can see a diagram in which you can see how the number of monthly active users of the EDP developed in the last 4 years, so since August 2017. And you can see that the interest is growing. More and more users use the data portal actively. And to give an example, from March 2019 to March 2020, we had an increase of about 17% of the active users. And at the moment, it's more than 30,000 of users use the data portal per month. The data portal is accessible and available either via web browser or within the ePlan platform. So the users can, for example, also use their tablet and easily search for parts and get detailed information in a comfortable way. Here in the browser, they can, here on the left side, this is the browser view. Here they can download, for example, commercial data and DXF data. Most of our users use the platform to use the data portal. The view is here on the right-hand side. And here they can use the full functionality and can directly import their parts to the local parts management and use it directly to create the schematics in ePlan Electric P8, for example. To sum up what's new in the new ePlan data portal, I'd like to point out again the new modern user interface, which is very intuitive and easy understandable, and which leads to a easy parts selection. The users don't need long explanations or trainings. They can start right away and save time by using the parts data from the data portal. A modern search algorithm leads to fast results of the search, and you can say that there are further improvements. It's an ongoing process to make the best algorithm with the best results. The ePlan data standard, which will be presented later today, in this meeting is integrated in the new data portal, and this meets another added value for the users. We will switch now to a short live demonstration where I will show you how to access the new data portal, some different ways of part selection, and how to easily import parts and use these parts within the schematics. So now I hope you can see my EPLAN platform. First of all, it's very important, as you can see here in the top left corner, I am using EPLAN Electric P8 in the version 2.9 Service Pack 1 Update 2. And it is important that you use the version, at least the version 2.9 Service Pack 1. Only from Service Pack 1 on, you can use the full functionality of the new EPLAN data portal. You find the new data portal under Utilities and then EPLAN ePulse. Then you can create a new account by clicking on Sign Up Now. I already have an account, so I just type in my access data. And click on Sign In. Then I choose the ePulse community organization in which every new user is automatically involved. And then I'm on the product and services page of ePulse here. Here I choose the app data portal. Yeah, it takes some time for loading, but doesn't take too long. So this is the homepage of the data portal. In the bottom, you can see here also very famous parts which are very much downloaded, or you can directly start your search. First of all, I'd like to show you the parts selection via catalog selection, and I start by clicking here on the discipline I want to use, which is, for example, electrical engineering. Oh, wait, there are still filters from before. So I choose catalog, EPLAN catalog, and electrical engineering. Now I'm searching, for example, for a rotary actuator. So I choose, for example, electrically operated mechanical devices and just click on Apply. So here in the part, we are in the part lists. Here in the top, you can see your filters which are active. Yeah. And now I choose the part. Here you can see also which data types are available for these parts, part number, manufacturer, and some a small designation. Also, you can see here that this part follows the EPLAN data standard. You see it in this EPLAN data standard flag. So, okay, I just choose this part and add it to my download list. Here you see the message of success. It's added to the download list. I clear the filters and show you one more catalog selection. Again, EPLAN catalog, electrical engineering. And now I'm looking for a contactor, for example. So I scroll down and choose relays and contactors. And contactors, apply. Now I choose the sorting. The default sorting at the moment is the part number, but I want the most downloaded parts, which is this Siemens contactor. Here you can see also the number of downloads, the type number, and also which parts data, which data types are available for this part. I switch to the detail view now. Here you can see some pictures of it, some accessories which are connected to this part, and I can also switch to a 3D viewpoint. Here I can turn it around the part and just check whether this part fits to my needs. So, okay, let's assume it fits to my needs. I add it to my download list, to the parts list. Now I'd like to search for a part by typing in what I'm searching for. Let's assume I know what I'm searching for, and I'm looking for a ground modular terminal block. So I type in PT 2.5 PE, press enter, and have here this part exactly what the type number is exactly what I was looking for. And okay, I say yes, this is the one I was looking for. I add it to my download list. One more example for suggestions. Let's assume I know which part I am looking for, but I don't know the complete parts number. I know it maybe only partly, or the manufacturer. So I type in len.x, and I have here suggestions for all the parts which fit to this part number. Okay, maybe I remember that this was the one I was looking for. And here you can also see again, EPLAN data standard is available for this part, and which data types are available. I add it to my download list. So one more part to select. I select a selector, for example, Schneider Electric selector. These are selection aids from leading component manufacturers. At the moment, as I mentioned before, we have 6 of them. Yeah, now I'm looking for a electrical protection from Schneider Electric. Okay, I scroll down. I choose this one, and here I'm asked to give some technical parameters. Let's assume that I choose just this. Down here, I can make more technical, I can type in more technical parameters, for example, this and this. It's not necessary, but yeah, okay. So now I have one part and one accessory. By clicking here, I added both to my download list. So now you see here all the parts we have chosen. And now I show you how to import them. First, I'd like to import this part. Here you can see the macro. And now I open the drop-down menu by clicking here on the blue arrow, and I say Insert Part. Okay, I'm asked again whether I want to import it and which import type I want to use. I choose Update Existing Parts Data and Add New Data. Okay. Here down you see the download. And the message import was successful. And now when I go to the empty page of the project, I have the macro. It hangs on the mouse pointer, and I just can place it. And as usual, I'm asked for the insertion mode. I say OK, and that's it. One more example. For example, I can download the complete download list, and with one only click on import, it would take too long now because of the loading, but I will import just one part. For example, I mark this checkbox and import it as usual from the download list. Again, I'm asked whether it's okay. I have to click here again on import, and then this part is imported and downloaded to my local parts management. Yeah. I see the send clock. So loading, yes, import was successful. And now I can, I will just enlarge this page. I can, as usual, insert device by tapping the right mouse key, insert device. I remember that this part I was just downloading was len.x. And here it is in my local parts management. I click on OK and can import and can place it on the empty page in my project. So, okay. That was the short live demonstration, and I thank you very much for listening. And you can place all of your questions in the Q&A section in the WebEx. And now I'd like to hand over the word to Thomas Bings, who will give you insights on the ePlan data standard. So Thomas, you are a moderator now.
Yes, it works. Thank you.
Okay.
So share my screen with the presentation about the ePlan data standard. So yeah, there it is. So thank you, Josephine, and hello to everybody also from my side, and welcome to the virtual fair about the topic ePlan data portal. My name is Thomas Bings. I am a business owner in ePlan for the topic ePlan data portal, and I'd like to present to go deeper in the data portal, and I'd like to present the ePlan data standard. What's the idea behind, and what do we offer? Which value do we create with the ePlan data standard to customers? First of all, come on. So as we have already heard a lot of things about the data portal and the new user in data portal, so let me recap the basic idea of the data portal as it is. So the data portal is a platform between the component manufacturers and users, engineers of ePlan engineers. So the manufacturers can provide in the data portal their component-related data. This is basically basic data like part numbers and product description. It can be 3D files of the components, documents like the data sheet of the components, and especially the functional representation in the schematics. This is the so-called ePlan macro. So they upload all the data in the data portal, and the users can use these data in their projects, in their engineering projects. So they build up or they plan the machines in the engineering phase. And they build up typically the schematics in ePlan. This is what all our customers are doing traditionally. This is what an ePlan customer starts with when using ePlan solutions. It's the product Electric P8 to create schematics. And the engineers also create part lists. So they decide which component to use in the project. And these are the most common, most popular workflows they are doing with the data. But more and more, the users are also creating digital twins. So it's 3D panel layout, and they are also using the data from the data portal for production processes. In the past, we always had the strategy with the data portal to grow it, to collect more and more manufacturers to win them for the data portal, and to win more and more parts for the data portal. And we concentrated mainly on the topic macros for the purpose of creating schematics and part lists. But as I said, the data portal is now 10 years old, more than 10 years old. And the workflows of our customers also change within the 10 years. So nowadays, more and more customers, they are choosing ePlan because ePlan software offers a lot of possibilities for very efficient workflows, very efficient engineering. And these are, for example, solutions for 3D engineering. It's the solution ePlan Pro Panel, where our customers build up the panel layout in 3D already. And they, with doing this, they have a lower fault rate in production because they see already possible errors, possible mistakes within a cabinet during the engineering phase. And the customers have less changes during the manufacturing of the cabinet. So it is a very efficient, or it leads to an efficient production process of the cabinet. And other solutions EPLAN offers is, for example, a tool-based wiring. It's so-called EPLAN Smart Wiring, which helps the customers, the panel builders, to have a very efficient production with low qualified employees. So you do not need, as a producer, you do not need to read the whole schematic, 200 pages of EPLAN project, get all the information you need to wire the cabinet in a tool. It's so-called smart wiring. And other solutions we are offering together with Rital is the semi-automated production is machines, cutting machines, drilling machines that that can work on the metal cutting, mounting plates and cabinets. And these are all processes that are very efficient, but these are all processes also that need more and more component-related data, because to go these ways, for the user to go these ways, they do not only need the logical representation of parts, they also need 3D representation, so a 3D file. They need connection point patterns. They need drilling patterns for these components. So this topic of high quality component data is more and more important for our users when choosing the components. And so that's the feedback from the users, that they like the EPLAN data portal. As Josephine has shown, we have a lot of users in the data portal, and the number is constantly growing. But still, the users say that they have a high effort in data maintenance, because they download the parts from data portal, but then they adapt the data according to their needs in order to set up automated processes and highly sophisticated processes based on the data. They need the data in a standardized, in a uniform way, and they did not find it in the data portal yet. So what we decided in last year, and what we hardly are working on also in this year, is the topic, the EPLAN data standard. So it's the first time for EPLAN that we define the style and the content of a data set in the EPLAN data portal. The customer has up to now, if he does not find standardized data and he needs to create it by his own, then he needed a lot of time to create this data. For example, for this basic data, it's not so much effort to do it. For basic data and documents to collect these data, the customer needs 5 minutes approximately. But when it comes to EPLAN specific data like engineering data, this is the function template in EPLAN and the logical representation, the macro in EPLAN. This takes up to 1 hour of work for the engineer to create the data by himself for each component, 1 hour per component. And also these manufacturing related data like connection point pattern, drilling pattern, and 3D macro. This is depending on the complexity of the product. It's also up to 1 hour of work for the engineer to do. And so there are a lot of engineers at the moment that have this work to do because they do not find the data yet in the data portal. They cannot use the data one by one from the data portal. And there is at the moment, or in the past, a lack of uniformity in the data. And so this is what we are aiming on with the topic EPLAN data standard. So we sat together with a lot of customers, especially big customers, and had a look on their processes. So we have seen, okay, there are different process steps that are component data related. For example, for the process step part selection, the customers need, of course, the manufacturer of the component, the part number, but also some technical data, the sales status, and so on. And there are next component steps, then typically the creation of schematics and part lists, where the customer needs the electrical representation, function template, and product photos, for example. They are doing calculation based on component-related data. And so they need the weight for every component that they are choosing. Then they are doing the panel design and the production, where they need the 3D files, connection points, and so on. Then they are doing the complete documentation, so they want to hand over the whole engineering project to their customer, and they want to document every component with the data sheets, for example. And also for some logistical processes, they need component-related data. So this is all, all data that the customers needed, and we are ordering, or last year we ordered it, and we defined out of these data that is needed a set of obligatory, of mandatory data that we want to collect from the component manufacturers and to upload it in the EPLAN data portal. And this is summarized in the topic EPLAN data standard. So the data set according to the EPLAN data standard consists of the whole bunch of data, some basic data, the engineering data, function template and logic macro, and also the 3D related data, 3D files, connection point pattern, drilling pattern. And if component provides this data set to the EPLAN data portal and then to the customers, and the customer can use this component really efficiently in his workflows with the EPLAN software. So some examples how it looks like with specific components. So for example, I took out here 3 feed-through terminals of 3 different component manufacturers. And in the past, with non-standardized data, every component manufacturer for his own decided how to maintain the data and how to upload the data in the EPLAN data portal. And this leads to differences in these parts between all the manufacturers. For example, the logical representation is different for the parts, or some data is missing for a part, or there are some languages missing for another part. So in the end, there are definitely differences between all the parts data. And the future, so when we follow the standard, this will not happen anymore. Then here in the parts management, so the description of these parts in the EPLAN software is unified, and it can be used very easily and for automated processes later on. So another example for these non-standardized data, so if you think about to create a bill of materials, so think about you are a panel builder or a machine builder, and you have the task to build up the machine and to hand over the documentation to your customer. And of course, you have to build then a bill of material. And at the moment, with non-standardized data, this would be a bill of material with data sets without EPLAN data standards that do not follow the EPLAN data standard. So there are missing data. Some parts do not have a hyperlink to datasheet, for example. There are overlapping text because the texts are not unified, not standardized. There are capitalized designations, so it's all not in a professional manner. When you want to offer this bill of material, you would not offer it to your customer because it's not a professional way of this bill of material. And there again, with the EPLAN data standard, this will not happen anymore. So we have a unified way of providing these data, and also the customer do not need to change all the data sets by his own, but he can download the data from, and then also the bill of material directly looks better, has a better shape, and has a more professional style. So these are 2 examples which value and which advantages the data according to EPLAN data standard has for the customers, for the engineers, and why they will use the components that have standardized data, because then they do not have to change all the data by their own. Regarding the timeline of the EPLAN data standard, so this topic data and component related data is a very wide topic, because there are a lot of different data types, as you have already seen in the presentation, and there are even more different product groups for electrical engineering that are relevant for electrical engineering. And we have to look, in the end, we have to have a look on each product group specifically, because each product group has specific requirements for data. But we go there step by step to the full EPLAN data standard definition. So we started in November last year with basic electrical, with the product group electrical, but not with PLCs, because this is a topic for its own, and with some mechanical product groups. And we started to define mandatory properties, and we defined the standardization of alphanumeric data. And just now in September this year, we added, so we had a look in this year on the product group PLCs and the product group fluid. And this was also the first time for the PLCs where we look on the electrical representation, so on the logic macro for PLCs. And we defined a unified way how to represent a PLC in the schematic. So this is also a new point that will come up, will help our customers more and more also for handling PLCs efficiently in our software. And yeah, we will go on in the next year with the topics. So we have some further remaining electrical engineering products that we are going on, like frequency converters or power supplies. And also there we will have a look on these product groups want to standardize also there the logical representation and the properties in the EPLAN platform. This topic will be continuously growing in the next years. One look in the data portal interface. So how do we present to the users that a part is following the EPLAN data standard and has high quality parts data? So here is a snapshot of the new user interface in the EPLAN data portal. And there you can see that the customer can easily filter all parts that have standardized data. And then we show also at each part this small logo, EPLAN data standard, that says, okay, this part, where the user can rely on the content of the data. And yeah, this is a sign of quality in the EPLAN data portal. Yeah, so the conclusion, what is the EPLAN data standard? So the aim of the EPLAN data standard is to help our users to automate his processes in this software. So to go in an automated way, and therefore we have our processes. You always need standardized data, because otherwise you cannot automate the processes. So this is what we are doing with EPLAN data standard. We fill the gap to enable more and more users to go with these efficient automated solutions. And these automated solutions are then useful for generation of schematics, but also for wiring and drilling machines. So there's the whole process of the engineering and production phase can benefit from these EPLAN data standard solution in the future. So that's it. Thank you for your attention, and please feel free to type in all the questions, all the remarks that you have in the question and answer possibility here in the WebEx. Thank you. And I will hand over to the next presenter. This will be Markus. Is it right?
Should be, yes. Thanks, Thomas.
So Markus.
Thank you, Thomas. First, let me start to share myself via the video, and I would like to share some information. So let's see if it works. And yes, it looks like a mess, and that's me. A warm welcome from my side as well. My name is Markus Schneider, and I'm working as a business owner in the master data team as well, like my colleague Thomas and Josephine. And I would like to give you a short status and introduction of our, we call it report center, which gives you the opportunity to get some market insights, I don't want to start with a presentation and with a slide deck. I would like to start with the EPLAN data portal. Hopefully you can remember this data portal from Josephine's presentation. And I'm starting here because I guess it makes sense what we would like to analyze, which tool. And this is the reason I give you the opportunity to get a better understanding how is the user behavior of this component data in the EPLAN data portal. The EPLAN data portal, the report center itself, as mentioned, gives you some market insights of the user behavior inside the EPLAN data portal. What does it mean in detail? It means you can track how many times was your product downloaded, in which region, in which country, etc. So this gives you a good overview regarding your how can you reach your user, how can you reach your customers and our users. Now, I guess some of you will know and will get the question, oh, please stop one moment. We have such a tool still in place. We call it Report Center, and this is right. We have actually a Report Center with this functionality, but the existing one isn't state of the art anymore, and we have to update it step by step due to design, UI, and especially for the functionality point of view. What we will can offer you as a new function, you will see a dashboard where you can see as well the EDS share for your components and for the components in general in the data portal. This means you have a very good understanding if you follow the trend when you go ahead with this EDS standard, or if it doesn't make sense for you to make this huge effort to spend so much time to give us the right data. For the upcoming years, I will explain it a little bit later when we go to the Outlook slide. I will share you our ideas for the upcoming years when we're talking about lead generation or how we could track usage of component in projects. But this is just a vision, and it's not fixed now. It's still in the validation phase. Sometimes the monitor is not freezing. Okay, now it works. Once again, I don't want to bore you with all these insights which Thomas gives you already, and Thomas and Josephine. Just one short remark is the EPLAN data portal is an exchange platform from component manufacturer who are providing their component data in the data portal, and that all users of EPLAN can use this component data for their engineering processes and maybe for some other stuff, but this comes when we coming to this Outlook section. Now I would like to jump back and give you a short overview how this report center looks like in detail. So here you can see this is, we call it dashboard, and this is the first page of our report center. And here you have a very good overview of all the relevant numbers from this data portal. Here you have seen, here you can see this the latest download numbers with a trend and with a comparison for the last months. I do not wonder for me, it's not a big surprise that we have this red arrow. This means we have less downloads like in the months before, but this is quite clear due to the vacation period. Here you can see on the right-hand side how many parts we are offering in the EDP meanwhile, and you have here some more insights like a user number and manufacturer's numbers. And one very important thing is we have lose so many words and time regarding our EDS standard and that it is such important. You can see this here on the left-hand side, that you can have a good understanding what are the actual share of EDS parts in our ePlan data portal. It doesn't look so much, but when you think about when the EDS was launched, I guess till now it's a huge success, more or less, that we have so many EDS parts available. Meanwhile, in the EDP, and the number is growing from time to time. What you can see here in the graph as well. This graph doesn't give you so many informations because we have launched this EDS standard a few months ago, but you can see here how the acceptance factor is. With this graph, you have the possibility to use the slider to get in a deeper detail analysis for the time period, and here you can track what are the download numbers for this dedicated time period. Now I have to jump back to my presentation mode. Main reason for this is I would like to show you the other 4 sections of this of my tool, but here, as mentioned, we are talking from market insights, and we are talking from market insights from real partners from us, and I don't want to share these insights with these huge amount of participants in this session. Here you have the possibility, when you click to the manufacturer part, you can you have a detailed analysis possibility to go deeper into product groups. And generic product groups mean electrical stuff or mechanical stuff, or you can go directly into real product groups like terminals or something like that. Here you have the possibility, like mentioned before, to choose a different various time periods and make a very detailed analytics of your dedicated product groups. And you have here on the left-hand side the top 5 download parts from your chosen groups. Here you have some nice diagrams and graphs. What is the country with the most share of these component groups? And yeah, this is what you can see here on this slide for sure, with this typical map where you can track what is your main region for your different products. On the next slide, you can have a deeper look into this. You can go a step further in this detailed detailed analyzing. That means you can have a detailed analyzing about different part numbers, and here with this different download shares, etc. So here on this, on the left upper corner, I would like to lose some words about this download shares. Here we are trying to give you an indication of your download numbers comparing to your competitors. And I guess we are still in the validation phase with our legal department and due to GDPR, if this is allowed or not. But I guess this is a good indication for you and reflect how far you are with your product in the various markets. And last but not least, here we are on the slide where you can see here on the bottom, you have the possibility to check which company has downloaded which component. But here as well, we are still in the validation phase due to GDPR. Here I received different feedbacks regarding if this is allowed or not, but here this could give you a very good indication of this various download behaviors for the various download behaviors. Please do not wonder regarding these gray boxes here. As mentioned, I don't want to mention our partners in this big audience here because they are trusting us and these are validators. I would like to lose some words regarding our outlook and our roadmap. And I have started this on my first slide. In this year, in the last 3 months, we would like to give you the same functionality like the existing one. And in addition, we would like to give you the EDS shared analysis possibility as well. Means you will have a good overview regarding this EDS share and how is this EDS accepted in the market. For the upcoming year, we have many ideas in the pipeline, but we are still working. We are working already to customize the filter functionality. That means if you would like to choose or create your own region, you have the possibility for that. The same is for the dashboard and all this market share. And here with these functionalities, we can give you more opportunities for really detailed analytics. And here we have some ideas in mind, but it is a little bit too early to mention it here in this round. But here I'm very open for feedback, and I'm very glad to get feedback from you. When we're talking the next steps behind, then we're talking about a lead generator, and this is very similar to the companies. What I have shown here on this on the screenshot, the lead generator means I guess it would be helpful for the component manufacturers to get a detailed analytic who has downloaded which component, which an email address, and so go on, that you can have after this download, that you have the possibility to get in contact with this dedicated engineer to sales activities or to answer a question or something like that. This is what we have in mind, but from the technical point of view, it's it would be feasible, but here we have to have in mind that we are we have to follow the legal requirements for the European Union, especially when we're talking about the GDPR. Component data usage. This is just an idea, but this could be very valid that you get a better understanding or a further understanding from how your components are used in which projects and how are the components used. I guess this can be very valid for you. And the point open means here I mentioned the price information because we would like to give our to forward some price information to the user and make a better analytics about that. But this is, see it more or less as a placeholder. I guess with this analytic tool, we have a huge opportunity to give you the possibility to get a better understanding from the market, which are we all participating from. Thank you very much for your attention, and thanks for listening. If you have any questions regarding to this report center, or if you need some support for ProPanel, please send me a message. For the report center, I can I'm quite sure that I can answer these questions, and I'm very happy to receive feedback. And if you have any questions regarding other products, I'm quite sure that I can handle this and that I can forward it to the correct person. And now I would like to stop my sharing. And I would like to hand over, I guess, to Jennifer, isn't it?
Should be.
Yes, Marcus, thank you. I appreciate that.
So now you are the presenter.
Okay, great. I will share my screen.
We can see presentation.
Thank you. Okay, great. Thank you, Marcus. So as I mentioned earlier, my name is Jennifer Payne. I'm the business sales manager and cover the Americas, support the Americas. And today I'm going to be reviewing a little more in detail selectors and configurators on the data portal. So we've spoken about the importance of component information in the selection process. So we have the users are able to select data within the data portal, and then they use this information to create circuit diagrams and part lists, and then figure out calculations, move into production, which in the control cabinet and construction. They're able to complete the documentation and logistics. With selectors and configurators, they continue to help the engineer in supporting their workflow even more in depth. So we know that with the selector, it can support them through a simple product selection, and then with actual and EEC with the configurators, there is actual generation of ECAD data for these highly configurable component parts and solutions. And as I said, I will go into a little bit more detail on what we offer within the data portal. So as my colleagues showed you, we have a new ePlan interface, and now the selectors and configurators are just really a click away. So when you open the data portal within the ePulse environment, you have this button right here now that says selectors. In column A, it's going to show you the selectors that we offer. And then in column B, you're going to see all of the configurators that are available. And as we like to say, again, with just a click of a button, users are able to get into these selectors and configurators, select their parts, and then are able to download with just these buttons. And as the manufacturer, when you offer these selectors and configurators, you're bringing this to thousands of electrical engineers. So the new ePlan data portal is a win-win for manufacturers and our users. And with our modern user interface, it easily, you just saw that the selectors and configurators are really easily visible. It now becomes a valuable sales multiplier for device and component information that our users are able to access very quickly. It enables the users to integrate them directly into their engineering projects, and then they're able to create bill of materials for procurement. So again, when the manufacturers offer the selectors and configurators, users are able to save time through this direct transfer and offered through the component data. So we offered 3 different options for our manufacturers if they'd like to integrate their data into the ePlan data portal. We have a selector, a basic configurator, and then an EEC configurator. With the selector, there is no data generation. So this is basically we're opening up this link and this exchange of information. So the data does have, so the manufacturer would have to have an existing web selector. 95 to 100% of the selection variants are available in the data portal. And the nice thing about having a selector is that the users are familiar with the way in the field how it looks, you know, if they have experience using the manufacturer's selector already, they're able to easily, you know, do that within the data portal. So the example that we've shown, I believe my colleague Josephine showed it, is that we have that with Schneider Electric, which is it's their actual selector, and we open that exchange where users are able to see that information. The second option we offer is a basic configurator. This does have the generation of alphanumeric data. So again, there has to be an existing web configurator. There has to be the data and created within the ePlan data portal like macros, and that does depend on the part type. And we right now have that as an example of Vega on our data portal. And then thirdly, we offer an EEC configurator. So this is where generation of macros and alphanumeric data is occurring in the background. So this again is offering a deep link. It just has the opportunity to provide a lot of information, you know, to our users, the ePlan users. So there is, the manufacturer does have to have an existing configurator, possibly P8 and Pro panel. You do need EEC software, and then EEC hosting by ePlan or by the manufacturer does have to occur. Again, and we did show an example that we do have this in place with our sister company, Rittal, and we do offer one with Anderson Hauser. So who are currently offering, again, just a high overview. We have configurator with Rittal, Anderson Hauser. We do offer one with Rexroth, Vega, Metalworks, Schneider Electric. And for our user, and the benefit for our users when there is the availability of a selector, again, is that they can open the ePlan data portal either in the browser or within the ePlan platform, and then they're able to use the criteria specified by the manufacturer. So as you see here, this is in the format that Schneider Electric would normally offer their information on their website. Now our users, the ePlan user, can easily see that within our platform as well. So that's one of the great benefits as for the selector. And then we move over to configurators. Again, so with the one click, the engineers can choose one of the product's configurators. They can open and make the necessary specification changes, and then they can determine if they like to use that part and import it into their shopping cart. They can either configure the part they previously selected, or they can enter key figures, which are used by the configurator to provide matching parts. So, and then after this, the import user can use this part as they normally do. So then they can download it and then import it into their projects and utilize this new configured component. And as we stated in before, this is a very huge time savings for the engineer. And again, it gives them access to thousands and thousands of parts that may not be available on the data portal without a configurator. So if I'm not sure if you, hopefully you could see, this is just a quick demonstration of the selector. You could see it, but if not, I know that Josephine did go over there. It's really with a click of a button that you can select the selector, and then the user is able to select the component that they're looking for, and then they're able to easily download that and calculate that, or it'll calculate the information within the selector, and then they're easily able to download it into their parts list. And so again, we like to just say with a click of a button, that's really easy with the new interface. So what are the next steps? So you can contact any of the master data business sales manager within your area, and then we would define what entry point and what you would like to move forward with either a selector or configurator, and then we do an evaluation, and then we would follow up with all the technical teams that need to be involved with the process. So So thank you for your attention. Again, I gave this presentation this afternoon or morning in the U.S., and my colleague Juan Castillo gave this information also in the morning, so we put both of our information. But as I said, you could reach out to any of the business sales managers in your area, and they can help you. Thank you. And I believe I'm going to pass it back over to Marcus.
Yes, please. Thanks you, Jennifer. I'm starting to share my content. So let me. Marco Schneider is back. I have forgotten one parameter during my introduction, because when I'm introducing myself a couple of minutes ago, because as Tim mentioned, I'm over 40 years old, and so please, I'm sorry when I'm not a digital native sometimes. I would like to show you some features of our, we call it import tool, and I would like to start, like for the report center, with this EPLAN data portal. Just as a short recap, what is the main focus of our services here? So with all these data which you can see here in the data portal, have to be deployed somehow to this database, and with all this functionality for this user and for our partners. So I would like to give you an introduction. What we have in mind to make this deployment process and the upload process and the update process easier for you, and that we have a better exchange for this data in general. Now I jump back to this to the presentation mode, to my slides. And here, these are the key functionalities of our import tool. So in the first step, and this is one of the most important things here, is we offer you in the upcoming future an automated onboarding process of the component data. And this makes the life more easy for you, and saves a lot of time, and with a lot of time saving, you save a lot of money for sure. And if something is going automated and very simple, you have the possibility to update the data very fast as well. And so you have the possibility to keep your data in the data portal up to date in a very simple and easy way. A valid question would be why you start with this import tool now and not 4 or 5 years ago. This is very simple, because now we can use some synergies for some neutral formats and standards. I will come to this standard a little bit later, but this is a must for this kind of automated system. And you will see a short demo where you can see how does it work. Some few words where you can find it. This is an ePulse application. This means you don't have to have any EPLAN skills or any EPLAN licenses or something like that. You as a product manager can use this tool very easy to get the parts into the EPLAN data portal. And there's one side effect which we found out during the development phase. We have the possibility to give you a very detailed EDS analysis. This means we can give you a feedback if your component data fulfill the EDS standard or not. And you can download it and you can give it back to your development department or to the responsible persons. And I guess this can help you to get your parts ready for this EDS standard. And last but not least, but this is more on our roadmap and more in a DEAR, we would like to have a link to a partner systems. And here we're talking about, we have in mind something like PIMP systems, where we can automate it, have it transfer from data into our data portal. EPLAN data portal, I don't want to bore you with this again, so I will skip this slide. You heard it more than twice. But here I would like to hold on a second. Thomas has presented this slide during his session, but this is very important and I would like to underline it. When we're talking about the content of the EPLAN data standard, when you can see which functionality we have to fulfill with this standard, you can imagine that it isn't very easy to find a neutral exchange format which contains all the needed information for this. And this is what I meant before when I mentioned using synergies with classification standard. Now we have this standard. It is the standard E-Class Advanced. It is from a non-profit organization in Europe. But with this exchange format, we are able to generate all this needed data groups, let's say it in this way, to fulfill all the engineering processes which EPLAN users have to fulfill. And now I would like to give you a short demonstration of my tool. This is, you can see it here, is this is a dashboard, how it looks like when you start this import tool. So for sure, you won't see Marco Schneider here, but yeah. And with this, you have the possibility to upload files, to work on these files. And how does it work? I would like to show it to you. Here with this upload function, you have the possibility to upload an E-Class Advanced file in a very easy way. For sure, you can use a drag and drop function, but I don't want to show it to you quite now because everyone from you has seen it before, how a drag and drop function works. And now we have this E-Class Advanced file uploaded into our import tool. So, and here it is. So here for sure we have some nice attachments, which my colleague Stefan has prepared for the session now, but this is how it looks like in general. And this design is the same like in the data portal, what Josephine presented you in the beginning of our session. And here you have some very nice details. And here you can see the E-Class version. Here we are talking about the E-Class version 11, which is more or less the latest one. And we can be supporting E-Class versions from 9.0 till 11. This is how it looks like. And now we have to work on this parts a little bit, because what you can see here on the status, we have 3 dots, and with these 3 dots, it reflects the actual status. And this means we have to work on this. We called it mapping. It means, as mentioned, we're working with this E-Class functionality and with this uploaded EDS functions. And so we have to map these properties with these E-class properties that every field and every property is correct mapped, and that we can go further, and that the EDS is fulfilled in the EPLAN data portal. And when you finish this, the second dot would be switched to blue, and then would switch to blue. And when all dots are blue, you can publish this data. But I don't want to waste too much time now, and would like to show you what you have to do with this third dot. Here you have to give these 3D files the correct orientation to fulfill all the requirements from all EPLAN services. And here, when Thomas has mentioned the digital twin, and Josephine as well, and when we're working with this, and we would like to have a 3D model to reflect our cabinet, I guess this is well needed. And here is what you're doing here. You have to give the correct orientation that you can fulfill all the after that you can fulfill all the needs from the engineering processes from EPLAN. And with this, if you have done all this, you can, for sure you can delete it, but then you can press publish, and then this this component data will be forwarded to the EPLAN data portal. The quality check will be automated done. This is on our roadmap. I can't promise you when we can finish this, because yeah, I can't promise you when we can finish this, but I'm quite sure that we have the first process for this ready in the upcoming months. This was it for the E-class file and for the automated process. But what I mentioned before is we have the possibility to check something, to check a data set regarding these EDS standards, that you have a very easy tool to check if your component data are ready for EDS or not. And you can do the same. You can do it with this already imported file. You have here the possibility to see, okay, with this fields I have to do something. You can download this file as an Excel, in an Excel format, and then you can forward it to the dedicated department in a very simple and very easy way. You can do the same with we call it an EDZ file. EDZ file is a file dedicated for EPLAN. This means you have the possibility to check an existing data set due to the EDS standard. Here you can do the same. Check it, download your Excel file, and now you can work on these attributes, on these properties. And now with this, you have the possibility to add all missing information to this EDZ file. Please let me look on my list if I have something forgotten. I guess not. But I would like to jump back to my presentation. And just to sum up a little bit, my key messages for this new onboarding process or import tool. So now we have two possibilities for the component manufacturer, that they can provide the data to this data portal. First possibility is they are EPLAN key users and they're creating the data by themselves. They forwarded them to us, and then the content quality team will organize and apply the deployment to the EPLAN data portal. Or if you don't have EPLAN skills, you can contact us that we create this data for you, or you can contact a partner from us for data creation that someone is getting in contact with you that to create this EPLAN data set. What we can do now is, due to the neutral format with E-class and this import tool, what is reflected with this pictogram, with this picto, is you have the possibility to map an E-class format, an E-class file, to our EPLAN data standard, translate it, and uploaded it directly to the data portal. The same you can do with an EDZ file. For sure, I have shown it to you that you can check, if this EDZ file fulfills the EDS standard. If yes, you can upload it by yourself via the import tool. And for sure, we don't want to stop with E-class Advanced or with EDZ. For sure, we are thinking about other exchange formats, what we can do here. It is too early to promise something here in this round, but yeah, we are still in the evaluation phase and checking out other formats. And for sure, and this is very important, we won't skip anything or something like that. So if you don't have the possibility to provide an E-class Advanced file so far, or if you don't want to do this, you have for sure the other possibilities like now. So the import tool is an additional onboarding process for our partners and for the component manufacturers to provide us the correct data. Thank you very much for your attention. Hopefully you have some questions, and I'm looking forward for your feedback and for your comments. And I would like to hand over now to Tim. And I guess we can start with an Q&A session now, isn't it?
Yeah, that's correct. Again, we are a little bit faster than scheduled. The same like this morning, actually on the minute, I would say, Markus. It's like perfect timing. So should there be any non-answered questions coming from the auditorium, we are very happy and pleased to help you to answer those questions. If not, I think you know where to reach us. The EPLAN data portal team. We are also available after the virtual fair. That's also not a problem at all.
We hope you've enjoyed the presentation today and got valuable information for the EPLAN data portal update. Please enjoy your time today, the rest of your time at the Rockwell Fair, and we look forward to speaking with you soon. Thank you.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Rockwell Automation Fair at Home. And today's presentation will be about the application of ePlan solutions in the food and beverage industry, using ePlan pre-planning and ePlan Fluid as the two solutions to get you started quickly and efficiently. My name is Sean Mulherrin. I've been with ePlan for over 25 years now, and currently working for the product management responsible for ePlan pre-planning and ePlan Electric P8, as well as ePlan Fluid. So let's get started. First off, I'll just give you a brief introduction of ePlan pre-planning and getting a better understanding of what the purpose of that software is. When we talk about ePlan pre-planning, we use it as an application to start capturing information upfront. And in the food and beverage industry, a requirement is to design PFDs, process flow diagrams, and P&IDs, process and instrumentation diagrams. So using ePlan pre-planning, you can cover those tasks, and you can also generate data sheets, generate specification sheets. You can structure your data. You can use the system for quoting and capture all of the information you need to start your controls design. Pre-planning can help you capture right up front all of your elements for process flow diagrams, such as define your tanks, all of the parameters associated with those tanks, identify what type of tanks you have, as well as the piping between those tanks to carry the various substances from the different mixing and processing tanks. Then you can capture all of your actuators, which are the devices that help you to carry the substance from one tank to another, such as your pumps, as well as your valves. Some of these valves are pneumatically actuated, where ePlan Fluid comes in to control all of the airflow to those specific actuators. Pre-planning also allows you to capture all of your sensors, all of your temperature sensors, your pressure sensors, your level sensors, your flow sensors, all of the sensors that help you monitor and also control your process system. And once those items have been captured, you can also use pre-planning to tie them all into instrumentation devices. So linking the actuators, so the pumps or the valves, with the temperature sensors or the pressure sensors in any given device to make sure that the process is correct. The huge benefit of pre-planning is not only can you capture your graphical information in the design, so while you're creating your P&IDs, you capture information, but on top of that, you can structure that data within pre-planning. And you can see here you have your storage area, tank farm, storage tank edition 1, you've got your pumps, you've got your valves, you've got your level controllers, you've got your level indicators with alarms. So everything can be designed in a structured environment easily and conveniently using your graphical design. Additionally, if you have data already stored in Excel sheets, such as instrumentation lists or device lists, equipment lists, signal lists, all of those types of lists can easily be imported in ePlan and used as a starting point for your design or a starting point for information into your detail engineering. Here we can see a structured view capturing all of your I/O requirements. So signals, whether it's inputs or outputs, digital or analog, can already be captured early on in the process design system and made available for your control systems later on. Additionally, importing the data, as I just mentioned, from external sources can help you also create data for your system easily in a structured environment. Pre-planning provides you the option to generate reports. So data sheets, specification sheets, equipment lists, cost estimation, signal list, all these types of reports that are today typically captured in Excel or using Word documents. You can easily generate these reports in ePlan and then use those reports further down the line or use them with your supply chain if needed. ePlan pre-planning can also be used as a quoting tool, meaning that once I've created my P&ID or I've imported data using my structure, I can report this data and summarize all of the requirements, such as identify how many IOs do I need, digital, analog, or also calculate the planning time, the costing time, or the construction time, or the software programming time, and the total cost. These can all then be added in a report and used for quoting purposes to get an understanding of how much that system is going to cost. So at the end of the day, pre-planning would be your tool in the food and beverage industry to help you design your process control system. Let's jump into the software and see how that works live. Here I am in the ePlan platform environment. I've opened up ePlan and now I'm ready to start my design. So first off, we've got different types of pages, whether you want to capture your P&IDs, your electrical schematics, your pneumatic diagrams. Here we're going to start with our process control systems. So I could, of course, start inserting my symbols and start building up my design using symbols that are standard out of the box in ePlan. So here we've got our P&ID library with symbols for process and instrumentation diagrams. And these symbols can easily be inserted in your drawing. Here we've got our electrical engineering symbols. These are all of the actuators. Then we've got our fluid power symbols, which are pneumatic or hydraulic actuators. And here we've got our process and engineering symbols, which are all of our symbols, such as valves, such as piping components, such as engines, and so on. All of these symbols can easily be selected and then inserted into the drawing to start your design. However, ePlan provides you with a much easier and quicker approach to start your design. This is called the macro technology. The macro technology is a collection of symbols that have already been created and combined to a specific circuit. Let's say I need a tank. So I'm going to insert a macro. This macro contains a tank with already predefined valves and ports. So let's take a look at this tank with 3 ports. And there's my graphical view of that tank that I can easily now drop into my pre-planning structure. Here is my process system 1. So it carries with it some level sensors. It carries with it some the tank, and also some air control valves. So these are my pneumatic valves with my pneumatic actuators. So I'm going to bring in that system in here, and I'm going to add it to my design environment. So this is one way of really quickly and easily starting off your P&IDs by inserting already predefined sections. So now I've got my air control valves, I've got my level sensors inside the tank, and under the level sensors you can also see that I have my level functions associated with them, and if I synchronize the data I can easily see this information available in the tree. Each one of these objects can carry any type of data to help you reporting or also managing that data for your design environment. So here you can put cost of construction, of planning, of software if you want to. You can add technical values such as minimum, maximum values, state of aggregation, type of substance, and so on. Then I'm going to insert a pump. I need to carry my substance into the tank using a pump. So I'm going to insert a Windows macro. This is this time not going to be my tank, it's going to be a pump. And this pump, using the tab key in ePlan, you can actually carry up to 26 different variations of the pump. So here I'm just going to drop a pump for my supplement process. So this is this one here. I'm going to add it here to my process 1. And I'm going to carry another pump for the main ingredient up here. And then using my connecting symbols, you can see that the system automatically places the lines and you don't have to do anything additional. Then I'm going to insert a substance. So identify the substance that I want to pump into my tank. So here's my substance. So I have a supplement here. Bringing this, and this also brings with it all of the piping information. So what type of pipe is needed, is it stainless steel, what the size of the pipe is going to be, what the class, and everything additional associated with it. Here's my second piping definition coming with it, and defining that particular environment. So as you can see, creating P&IDs is really easy by simply using the macro technology in ePlan, helping you lay out your data structure. Now, I've created a P&ID. Now I'd like to design the control system for these particular valves. As I mentioned earlier on, it's the tie-in between ePlan pre-planning, which is your P&ID and your structure, and ePlan fluid. So now in this case, behind each valve, I've also got the valve actuator, which is my pneumatic actuator. And if I look at this actuator, I look at the properties of that actuator, I have some data, but I also have a macro. And this macro allows me to simply drag and drop my pneumatic control system directly into my design. So here is that control system associated to that valve. But before that, I need an air preparation unit. So let's insert an enclosure. I'm going to delete this one here. And let's just insert an enclosure into my system. So insert pre-planning macro. It's going to be my enclosure system. This enclosure system, via drag and drop, I'm going to create my electrical power supply. So you can see here, I've got my power supply. Then I'm going to create a new pneumatic air preparation unit. So here's my pre-planning object. This is going to be P&E1. It's going to be my air preparation unit. And behind this air preparation unit, I'm going to store the macros or the design needed for that particular system. So here again, I'm going to use the macro technology in ePlan to help quickly and easily lay out that particular system. So if I go here to my P&ID, my machine layout, pneumatic. There we go. My air preparation unit is right here. Okay, so now I've associated the circuit diagram to this object. And now all I need to do is take this air preparation unit, drag it into my system. And here we have my air preparation unit with all of the pneumatic controls, as well as my beginning for my valve manifold. So there's the start of my valve manifold, there's the end of my valve manifold, and now I'm going to link it up with all of the air control valves that I've placed in my P&ID. So if I open up the P&ID and I look up those three different pneumatic controls, so I'm going to select them, and via drag and drop, I can just drop them into my system, and now you can see my process system 1 now has my air control valve, AC3. There's my supplement inlet valve, and it's connected to my valve manifold, and it's connected also to an I/O. So using pre-planning allows you to create your objects up front for your P&ID, but also capture the objects that you'll need for your pneumatic system, and via drag and drop, easily integrate these designs into your detail engineering. Hence, making it a lot easier to quickly create your P&IDs as well as your pneumatic control system. So that was a brief view or introduction to pre-planning using pre-planning and ePlan fluid for food and beverage applications and streamlining your controls design. So from my side, Sean Mulherrin, thank you very much for attending this presentation. and I hope you're going to enjoy the rest of the automation fair at home, and make sure to check out the live ePlan content. There's a lot more to see. Thank you very much.
Engineering is going through a real revolution. Cloud computing, the Internet of Things, and data integration have a huge impact on industrial production systems. An efficient exchange of digital data between the different engineering phases is necessary to prevent disruption. If you want to work efficiently, you must think in an integrated way. That starts in the concept phase. Thanks to the digitization and modularization of engineering data, you can immediately start with conceptual design. This smart customization ensures substantial time savings, better estimable offers, and sharper delivery times. Smart engineering stands for a smart connection of electrical, mechanical, and software data. Thanks to one virtual prototype, everyone speaks the same language. It opens the door to smart production. The digital twin with 3D info and other smart data ensures smooth communication between man and machine. The better and more accessible information is built up in the concept, engineering and production phases, the less time you'll lose later on in case of downtime. You can also store everything in the cloud, so everyone has direct access to the right digital data at any given time. It's crystal clear. Working in an integrated way creates added value, shortens the lead time of your projects, and reduces downtime in case of a breakdown. This way you create a great added value for your product. Do you want to know how you can do this? The different solutions within the ePlan platform support you towards an integrated engineering and production process. Your digital transformation with ePlan.
Digital data has become a primary focus for product development and production, with manual and automated processes of panel building. Having standardized and digitally provided data is becoming a necessity. User errors are expensive, and implementing the correct set of wiring can be tedious and oftentimes daunting. With the help of virtual prototyping, access to creating a digital footprint of wiring is now possible. From the connections to the best routing path, ePlan Smart Wiring creates a virtual layout that provides shop floors with all the necessary information in a 3D digital format. Data can be passed along to different departments seamlessly. Whether it's a manual or fixed installation, wiring information is available to the design department via email. What else can smart wiring do? With the help of a smart device, you can access ePlan Smart Wiring and receive detailed step-by-step instructions for easy implementation. Wiring can be completed without schematics or layouts, and connections can be recorded using the traffic light principle. In addition to creating a transparent guideline, smart wiring also helps avoid mistakes in real time. By running an automatic project comparison, last-minute changes are now possible. Using ePlan Pro Panel, Smart Wiring and eView will give you a 45% time savings in wire preparation and project completion. To learn more about how to save on cost and time through automation, visit us at info.eplanusa.com/wiring 4.0.
Hello, I am Van Miller, Value Chain Consultant with ePlan Software and Services. We hope you're enjoying your time today at the Rockwell Automation Fair at Home. I will be presenting some opportunities for automating your control panel shop manufacturing processes as realized through our advanced engineering and 3D design software. If you have questions during the presentation, please feel free to enter those into the chat box and we will get to those right away. Again, we hope you enjoy your time at the fair, and let's get started. I have been involved with control panel manufacturing and working with panel builders in terms of shop floor automation and connectivity to the engineering process. So I was with Rital about 5 years previous to coming on board with ePlan, and my pleasure to have you all here with me today. So let's go ahead and get started. So by this point, I'm sure you've run across our infinity loop here, which is a representation of the customer's value chain and where we bring solutions to help our customers improve their processes. So today, we really want to be focusing on the manufacturing floor, and we'll step through some of the items shown here. We're going to concentrate on some of the processes which really benefit from automation and create the largest impact to your manufacturing space. So before we get started with that, just wanted to throw out this slide, which is talking about the concerns that most panel builders that I interact with have when they're coming to talk to ePlan and RAS about their shop and how they're working today. And we see the biggest pressure coming from increasing prices, shortage of skilled labor. I mean, certainly before the COVID-19 pandemic, this was a very large topic with a lot of customers over the last couple of years, not being able to find good resources for panel builders out on the floor as well as engineers up front. But then also, there's that all everlasting pressure to reduce delivery times to the end customers. And many customers recognize that there are inefficient workflows and quality issues on the floor and are looking for ways to address those. So just wanted to take a look at what I see as the kind of current state of a lot of panel manufacturers throughout the United States. I believe over the last 13, 14 years, I have probably been inside of close to 500 panel shops, both here and abroad. And these are all common attributes that I see. So a lot of customers are working on an engineering to order basis, meaning that they're taking existing engineering documentation and then manually modifying it. So they'll find a project that looks very similar to what they're going to be building, and they start from there. But the problem is often this will actually carry forward embedded errors. Also, it's long quoting cycles involved with this type of engineering. Often the engineering department has a decent backlog and has a lot of pressure on it. So this is a continual pressure. Documentation revision management is constantly a theme. Just making sure that all the associated documents and data are revised when like an older project is brought up and revised for a new job. Also on the order to remittance side, so managing data between the design group, purchasing folks, and the manufacturing people is, it's time intensive, making sure that all of the correct, documentation is on the floor at the correct revision level. And once the project goes out to the customer, just ensuring that the as-built documentation is also correct. And then, a couple of years down the line, perhaps the customer is calling for replacement components or assistance with a unit that's down. That aftermarket support is incredibly important. So, we are looking at that as, kind of challenges that our customers face today. Then out on the production floor, just a couple of examples of where we see the biggest buckets in terms of time consumption, where, the panel build is really taking a lot of time. One being the enclosure and back panel modification. So talking about the layout of all the components on the back panel or on the enclosure, marking out all the hole locations and hardware requirements, center punching, and this is once all the components have been taken back off the panel, center punching, drilling, tapping, all of those holes, and then the cutouts, certainly in the enclosure body itself, often for filters, fans, HMIs, that type of thing. Those areas need to be marked and taped off before they're machined. Wire processing, certainly the largest bucket out there typically. We see somewhere between 50–60% of the time a panel spends on the floor in wire processing. So schematic reading and marking, so this is often how people are working through and wiring the panel. So it's a slower process. So hand cutting the wire off of spools, stripping wire, crimping, labeling, and then finally, landing that conductor in the control panel. So all of these tasks are currently very manual in most panel shops throughout the country. What we are going to be showing you today is how we can really leverage the information, the data coming out of ePlan software in a virtual environment and drive that information directly out onto the panel shop so that we have a one-for-one instruction on how that panel should be built. And so looking at the automation in the engineering department itself, by this point you've probably seen some demonstrations on ePlan's capability and a lot of the automation that it brings to the mundane daily tasks that engineers encounter. So, but of course, the data quality is very highly maintained between all documents and reports. Lower overall engineering costs through this type of automation, just getting the design done faster, and as I said, eliminating a lot of those mundane tasks. So, and of course, once the project is complete, we can send that data out to the manufacturing floor, which will assist with visualization of like the 3D engineering, being able to make sure that we don't have interferences and making sure that the panel is laid out correctly before going out to the floor. Wire routing and data for advanced wire processing systems, we'll be looking at that, as well as the data required for CNC machines for modifying enclosures and back panels. And outside of those, those steps we can also help automate and streamline DIN rail and wire track kitting, automated terminal block assembly should your company use a lot of terminal blocks in the production, all the required label printing and kitting requirements for the panels, and then just showing a method of paperless panel wiring. So really trying to get the paper off the floor and work in a more digital environment. And I just wanted to mention a couple of overall benefits, in my view, to database-driven engineering. So this is really, an architecture for an engineering platform in ePlan, which is different than most customers are working with today. And that is that, we've got a component article database foundation underneath the software, which allows us to drive a lot of design variations once we have those components in our database. Components can be used together with intelligent schematic macros, which then can be saved and reused and drive further efficiency, so that we're creating large chunks of circuitry inside of the panel design and can save those and reuse them. One really important piece here, I think, is that all the component information is stored in one place, which avoids maintaining data in several different places in the company, formats and locations. In some cases, you'll see a project at a panel shop where the schematics maybe are done in CAD, but the bill of materials is over here in Excel, and then we've got maybe a Word document that talks about the P&ID, etc. So you get the idea that there can be several different pieces of information that all belong to the same project. And just to state here that each component is also carrying with all the critical data that we need for subsequent manufacturing automation. So the technologies we're going to be talking about, and we can carry, of course, with that component 2D, 3D dimensions, electrical functions and properties, mounting requirements for mounting that component on the panel, as well as wiring connection points, which we will see is very important. Just a quick note here. I think everybody recognizes this, but I think it's worth mentioning that the cost of errors. Certainly, the earlier on we catch errors, preferably in the engineering department, the better, because they're less expensive at that point. Of course, the further down the manufacturing process the panel goes, the more expensive that gets. You get into testing that can be very detrimental. But certainly think about a panel being out at a customer site with a problem. Of course that increases the cost several. So so the technology that we really are going to be concentrating on today are going to be the piece of equipment that we see here, and showing how the ePlan platform can drive data directly out to these machines. So having the advantages of eliminating human input errors, really just changes are being done in one system only. So it's not difficult to keep track of revisions and say engineering change orders out on the floor. So data for automation of processing enclosures, back panels, wire ducts, DIN rails, wire conductors, and terminal block assemblies. I mean, even right down to the printed labels for device IDs and things like that. So the first piece I wanted to address today was, at the beginning of the process, which is enclosure and mounting panel modification. So as Rittal Automation Systems and ePlan, we're showing you today the Perforex machining centers. So we have two different options here, depending on the production mix that the customer has. The first unit is the RAS-BC. This is essentially a piece of equipment specifically designed for panel builders to modify enclosures and back panels, and it employs a mechanical end mill to do the cutouts of things like filters and fans. So both of these machines can drill, tap, and cut out larger openings in the material, and we can work on any surface of an enclosure, say a 3D welded block box. Both machines are fully capable of that. Essentially, we can work in all sorts of materials, whether it's steel, stainless steel, aluminum, plastic, Lexan, fiberglass, copper bus bar, etc. So most of the materials that you encounter as a panel builder. And both machines offer roughly 85% of total labor cost savings. So we're dropping 85% of the time out of what customers typically require for panel layout and machining. Like any automated process, we can expect improved quality with no rework of those enclosures that you're buying that are expensive. And also we offer the opportunity of reducing potential inventory of pre-customized enclosures or long lead times that may incur from panel manufacturers, I should say enclosure manufacturers, to you. So really being able to take stock enclosures directly off the shelf and modify them directly for your job's needs. And really important point here, going back to the shortage of labor, is being able to use existing labor resources on the floor for much more value-added activities such as panel wiring and testing. So, so I was just going to at this point, pop up a couple of videos, just to give you some visual idea of the Perforex machine. So hopefully you can see that okay. And so this is the Perforex BC unit. So this is the mechanical end mill machine. And let's see, the Perforex is vertically constructed. So we were actually putting workpieces on vertically instead of horizontally, like you see like a lot of CNC machines out in the world. All of the clamping and standoffs for the workpiece are specifically designed to not scratch and mar the surface, whether it's painted steel or carbon, stainless steel, etc. So very simple operation. And what we'll see here is the machine is picking up 1 out of 20 tools on the left-hand side out of the magazine and processing the panel according to the data. And we are seeing a drilling process here. We'll also see a bit of tapping, and then later on some of the mechanical end milling with this machine. We do check all the tools before we put them away, and we incorporate some other technologies with the machine, such as a pressure plate system, which you'll see in a second, which is actually stabilizing the material here, with these all-directional red wheels, and while it's doing the cutout. And just a note, what looks to be burrs there are actually just the paint of the enclosure, so they're easily removed. She's removing basically a large piece of metal right now. We just wanted to get rid of that by hand and not have it free fall. But the machine will come back and clean up those retention tabs that had kept that piece of metal in place. And as you see here, she's just removing the paint from the cut. So not only can we work on a flat part across the entire surface of the machine, but as we'll see in a second, we can also load a three-dimensional cubicle, and that's done by opening this door here and just loading, say, like a wall mount box, like Ellie will be grabbing in a second. And so the 0 points on the machine are hard mechanical 0 points, and we see the motorized depth and control bringing the workpiece up to the 0 point in the Z-axis. Here, all of the clamping systems are very simple and easy to use. So we use Festo pneumatics to really grab onto that workpiece and hold it stable during the machining process. So I think that gives you a pretty good overview of what the machine is doing. And of course, that enclosure can be rotated to work on any further sides that are needed. And let's see here. Just need to grab the next video then. And we'll just get a quick look at the laser. So the Perforex laser, at the end of the day, it's performing the same function. Essentially, the Perforex LC, is really designed with the idea of being able to machine stainless steel much faster. So just to give you an idea, it's about a 10-to-1 ratio in terms of speed on the Perforex BC machine, where we're cutting at about 1.2 meters a minute in the XY axes. But on this machine, it's a 1-for-1. Whether we're working in painted carbon steel or in stainless steel, the machine is still cutting at about 1.2 meters a minute. It's not the fastest laser in the world, and that's not the point. I mean, all of the parameters for this machine are really set exactly to not blacken or bubble up the paint, so we're not creating so much heat like you would with other CO2 or larger fiber laser processes. But still, certainly this is much faster than doing anything by hand, and the cut quality and precision is excellent. So just as a demonstration here, Ellie is going to throw in a stainless steel box, and I'll just kind of fast forward a little bit to that position. So that you can see here, the laser is cutting at the same speed as it was with the carbon steel product. And as you'll see, there's no oxidation, browning of the stainless steel. Customers are often very particular about the quality of the cuts and making sure that the surface is not marred. This is a very unique laser in that it can deposit the, or it can pick up, I'm sorry, like a spindle for tapping as well. So we can fully laser drill and then come back and tap out, say, a back panel. So a fully functional Perforex machine, very similar to the last piece we saw. Okay, let me just jump back into the presentation here quickly. Moving on, we also, once we have the data out of ePlan for all of the cuts and especially the capped and drilled holes in the mounting panel, we then also already have the information required for the DIN rail and wire track, which tends to be responsible for a large proportion of the holes made in a mounting panel. And so the Securex machine is really a great piece for, it's complementary to that whole process. So, in itself, the machine can be used to optimize the cutting of standard 2 and 3 meter lengths of DIN rail and wire track, and optimize that over several jobs so that we, have the least amount of waste possible. But really where the savings come here is the hand measuring, the walking back and forth to some centralized cutting system on the floor, and piece by piece having to walk back and forth after each cut is made, measuring again and going back to, say, a cutting position on the floor. So I'll just show a very quick I'll finish off here just quickly. There is a machine also that we have for cutting DIN rail, but this piece of equipment, the Atex, actually also will laser scribe terminal block labels, like the little markers or chiclets on terminal blocks, and then assemble those terminal blocks onto the DIN rail. So you're creating an entire terminal block DIN rail assembly with this piece of equipment. And as I said, there are fewer customers out there that really have the volume of terminal block purchasing and use that might really utilize this machine, but we're just showing it to explain that we have a very wide offering to panel builders in terms of automating their processes. So I will just jump back to actually, there was one other video I was going to show you. This is just a very quick video of so the export process out of ePlan Pro Panel 3D to the Perforex machine. So we're just showing what this looks like. So we select the piece of equipment we want to export to, say okay, and shows that we've got a lot of cutouts and drilled holes to make in this cabinet. So this is actually the interface software for the Perforex machine, and it was exported directly to the database and imported automatically. So we just go down, we find our trade show order here, and when we open that up, we can see the programming for each side of that enclosure. So whether it's the filters, fans on the side, the connectors, the door, the mounting panel, etc. Even right down to the gland plate. So when we go back and we look at the panel in 3D, of course, we can see all of those features on the enclosure itself and where the mounting was taking place on the mounting panel. And I believe at this point I flipped it around, and we'll just turn on the drilling view so you can see that it exactly resembles the drilling pattern that was sent to the machine itself. So, okay. So then, just wanted to move on to a very quick video about the Securex machine as well. So this is the machine for DIN rail and wire cutting optimization. And of course, like I said before, all the information we need to make these cuts and kit them together was provided to us through ePlan and through the Perforex software database. So this machine is connected to the Perforex, or can be. And here, we're trying to automate as much as possible the cutting of these materials. So you can see the backstop moves away so that it's easily removable. And so those are safety buttons. That is an open blade there. So we have safety buttons. And then we also produce like a label, which talks about the job name, the length of the material, and also the XY position on the mounting panel so that the person doing the assembly does that as quickly as possible. And of course, the same unit can do cut the DIN rail to length. We have 5 different profiles for different types of DIN rail here, 7.5, 15, and C channel, etc. And then just while we have that that large surface on the top, we decided to use the rest of the area underneath the machine to store tools, documentation, and also stock of DIN rail track covers and DIN rail wire track and covers. Okay. So go ahead and get back to the presentation here. Now, this is really the heart of the discussion that I wanted to talk about, and this is wire processing. So, the one unique thing about designing in 3D is the fact that we now have the opportunity to determine internal wire length, internal conductors inside the control panel. And once we have wire length, then we are able to really take advantage of that information to drive the automation of wire production ahead of time. And so we do have a couple of different routes here. I mean, we do have semi-automated equipment for customers that have lower volumes or certain specific needs for wire cutting, stripping, or strip crimping, for ferrules, whether they're loose piece or they're real fed. But the piece I really want to talk today about, is the automated wire processing solution, the wire terminal. And so this machine, is really going to be driven off of, like I said, the 3D data. And and I'd like to talk about the value of wire length information a little bit here before we take a look at that video. So ePlan software, as I mentioned, can provide that 3D data, but also just a couple of additional real strong benefits here would be, being able to look at thermal dissipation requirements and spacing, for climate control requirements inside the panel. So where's the best location for the climate control? Making sure the components are spaced properly so that they can get rid of their heat, and at the same time not interfering with each other or potentially interfering with the door when it's closing. So intelligent wire routing. So we're saying here that we can maintain voltage separation for control voltage versus power voltage, as well as keeping a close eye on duct fill limits. So if we are starting to overfill a duct, we can send it down another route to its destination. And of course, the accurate mounting hole locations for the panels and cutout locations. We've already talked about that, but just to move on here a little bit, and talk about what it actually means to be able to know what the wire length is. So when we were talking at the beginning about the manual process, these are all the steps that we talked about, the reading off of a schematic, stripping, crimping, marking, wire routing, and then doing all of those processes on the other end of the wire. So we've done a lot of time studies, and I've certainly done some myself. If a wireman is able to land a wire every 3 minutes, that person is really moving quickly. So we're using a pretty conservative number here, but often, customers will state that probably it's closer to an average of 5 minutes. But utilizing some of our semi-automated equipment, we can start to reduce that time, significantly. Bring it down to 85 seconds or even 65 seconds. But if we really go to a fully truly automated solution, like the wire terminal machine, we're bringing that time down to 45 seconds. And that means landing a wire every 45 seconds at the wire station. And let's just take a look at, you know, what we do with that wire. So as you'll see in the video, the wire is actually produced exactly in the sequence that ePlan told us to produce it in. And that matches up 1-for-1 with ePlan's solution for shop floor wiring, which is the smart wiring interface. And so this is a tablet or a touchscreen based application, you know, which really very clearly defines to the person doing the wiring how the panel needs to be wired and wired correctly. So, you know, this has got some pretty strong advantages to it. You know, the person doing the wiring no longer needs to actually, you know, let's say, know how to read schematics, for instance. So that opens up the potential labor pool quite a bit when you're just training people on how to correctly land wires and use these types of electronic interface tools. But really, you know, we're guaranteeing the optimum processing order, you know, during that operation, and just really trying to make the working method as efficient as possible. And so what does that look like? I mean, you know, when we really, you know, of course, you know, that piece of equipment, you know, has a cost to it. So how do we justify buying that as a panel shop? And here's the answer. So very straightforward calculator math. You know, we looked at our 3 minutes and seconds, so the 45 minutes that we, you know, can land that same wire with a pre-processed piece of wire, the delta being 135 seconds. If that panel had 500 wires, that means we've got over 67,000 seconds, and I just showed minutes, and then coming down to almost 19 hours of reduction of time of that panel on the floor. So if we multiply that times a $35 loaded labor rate on the floor, that means $656 per panel. And if a shop is doing, for instance, 500 panels a year, you know, that's coming out to $328,000 that they can put towards, you know, not only the investment of the equipment, but also the software to get here in the first place. So, so that's just a very quick, brief overview, and I realize I'm starting to run out of time, but I would like to, at this point, you know, just show you one last video of the wire terminal machine. This should give you a pretty good idea of the process that we're talking about. So, you know, just in general, we really tried to make this machine as small in terms of footprint as possible. We know that panel shops don't have a lot of floor space out there. Typically, when they're busy, they have none. So we really wanted to try and keep the machine as vertical and small footprint as possible. But here we see, you know, the data coming out of ePlan that can be sent directly to the machine. And in the back of the machine, you can see there's some wires leading to it. So we can have up to 36 different wire types being fed to the machine. So he's just going to be calling up the order for this particular job at this point, and he's just throwing some labels onto our wire rails where the wires are actually organized in sequence, and then you're able to take those out to the wire stations. But yeah, in any case, he'll get the machine fired up here in a second. The idea, like I said, being that we're keeping the wires in a sequence that will then match up on the backside with an interface program like smart wiring. So we are ferrilizing all of the wires, or at least one end of the wire, to hold them in those wire rails that we saw earlier. You know, so we're working with essentially anywhere from 20, you know, to 12 gauge in this process, and as the wire is fed in through that area, the comb up front, we are inkjet printing the wire, so that means the to and from target source information, schematic wire number, etc., directly onto the wire, cutting it to length, and then stripping and crimping the ends automatically. So it's then handed off and then placed, as you see here, into the wire rails. And that's how we're maintaining that sequencing that is going to be very important later. So just wanted to give you a brief overview of what kind of automation we're talking about in terms of wire processing. So it's wire processing has been around for a long time, but having it fit really hand in glove with the engineering and also like a control panel production floor is really the magic here. In that we're making the entire process much more efficient. Using other types of wire processing systems may gain some efficiency, but never to that level. And just a couple of words about the Rittal enclosure designs, just so it's understood. That there's if you can imagine looking at the Perforex machine, using very large freestanding 3D welded enclosures can be very cumbersome when loading those onto the machine. Rittal does have a modular design where each of the sides of the freestanding enclosures are removable. So you're handling, say, a 40-pound piece of metal instead of a 600 or 700-pound piece of metal into the machine. All of the Rittal products are available in full 3D in the ePlan data portal. If you haven't heard about the data portal yet, I encourage you to take a look at that. Let's see. So just the design internally of the panels, even panels like wall mount boxes, are really well thought through, and we're maximizing the available space usage inside of an enclosure. The retherm technology, this is for determining the heat dissipation requirements of a panel, works hand in hand with ePlan Pro Panel to ensure that customers are not undersizing or oversizing the cooling equipment. Okay, so I am almost done. I'll take 2 more minutes here and just talk about just a benchmark project. I'm sure maybe you've already encountered this in your discussions with ePlan, but if you haven't, you probably will see this again. So we just took a look at a bunch of panel builders out in the world. We wanted to know what they estimated this type of panel would take them to build. And so, we have some characteristics here that we're showing of a control panel that we gave them. And they told us that it takes about 58 hours for them to build that panel. And so we looked at the offerings that we have for shop floor automation and, determined, through some of our semi-automated technology, we can get that number down to about 34 hours. And then, using some of our more advanced solutions like we've seen here, we can get that number all the way down to 24 hours. So driving a significant amount of time out of the panel build. And here's kind of what that looks like. So if we think about, the Perforex machine that's responsible for, some of these bars up here, if you were to add them together, they would be pretty much the second largest bar on the chart. But certainly you see the front runner here is wire fabrication and wire installation. So the wiring time essentially that is currently done manually versus how we can impact that through the process of correct engineering in 3D, automated wire processing, and then that smart wiring interface out on the shop floor. So. We do have customers not only in Europe and in Asia, but also right here in the United States that are employing these technologies today. This is here, this is happening. We realize every customer can't bite off on the entire solution, but we do have entry points where you can start having a very beneficial impact on how your company works today and start down that path. I really appreciate your time today. And again, my name is Van Miller. Please feel free to contact me. If you've got questions right now, that's great. If you'd like to contact me or my associates afterwards, please do so. We look forward to talking to you. So thank you again. Thank you again for your time. I hope you enjoyed the presentation. Please be sure to stop by the ePlan Experience booth here at the Rockwell Automation Fair at Home, and have a good day.
Engineering is going through a real revolution. Cloud computing, the Internet of Things, and data integration have a huge impact on industrial production systems. An efficient exchange of digital data between the different engineering phases is necessary to prevent disruption. If you want to work efficiently, you must think in an integrated way. That starts in the concept phase. Thanks to the digitization and modularization of engineering data, you can immediately start with conceptual design. This smart customization ensures substantial time savings, better estimable offers, and sharper delivery times. Smart engineering stands for a smart connection of electrical, mechanical, and software data. Thanks to one virtual prototype, everyone speaks the same language. It opens the door to smart production. The digital twin with 3D info and other smart data ensures smooth communication between man and machine. The better and more accessible information is built up in the concept, engineering and production phases, the less time you'll lose later on in case of downtime. You can also store everything in the cloud, so everyone has direct access to the right digital data at any given time. It's crystal clear. Working in an integrated way creates added value, shortens the lead time of your projects, and reduces downtime in case of a breakdown. This way you create a great added value for your product. Do you want to know how you can do this? The different solutions within the ePlan platform support you towards an integrated engineering and production process. Your digital transformation with ePlan.
Digital data has become a primary focus for product development and production, with manual and automated processes of panel building having standardized and digitally provided data is becoming a necessity. User errors are expensive, and implementing the correct set of wiring can be tedious and oftentimes daunting. With the help of virtual prototyping, access to creating a digital footprint of wiring is now possible. From the connections to the best routing path, ePlan Smart Wiring creates a virtual layout that provides shop floors with all the necessary information in a 3D digital format. Data can be passed along to different departments seamlessly. Whether it's a manual or fixed installation, wiring information is available to the design department via email. What else can smart wiring do? With the help of a smart device, you can access ePlan Smart Wiring and receive detailed step-by-step instructions for easy implementation. Wiring can be completed without schematics or layouts, and connections can be recorded using the traffic light principle. In addition to creating a transparent guideline, smart wiring also helps avoid mistakes in real time. By running an automatic project comparison, last-minute changes are now possible. Using ePlan Pro Panel, Smart Wiring and eView will give you a 45% time savings in wire preparation and project completion. To learn more about how to save on cost and time through automation, visit us at info.eplanusa.com/wiring 4.0.
Thanks for joining us at ePlan Live. I hope you had a chance to visit our booth at Rockwell Automation Fair at Home